All right, all right, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Seats Wellness Roundtable. I am super excited. We are streaming right now live on YouTube and also Facebook. If you guys are here for the first time, my name is LaShana West. I'm the curator and host of Healing While Building and our new rendition of a mini chat virtually because I know that everyone cannot make it to our Healing While Building Summit in October. So we said, let's give them a little sneak peek with some amazing individuals from therapists to authors to sound bowl healers, all the things. We have you covered. Couple housekeeping, please make sure that you are on mute if you are here in the Zoom room. If you are here on YouTube, you can come over into the Zoom room. All you have to do is go to popupandcreate.com/events. I will drop that for you because listen, when you're in the Zoom room, not only do you get to chat with everyone, but you'll be able to participate in our round table chat as well as our hot seat mindset coaching. So listen, guys, really quickly, what I want to do is provide some safe space for you guys to set intentions. Everybody pop intention in the comments. Make sure you're on mute, guys, unless you're speaking, because it's giving a feedback. Drop intention in the comments. And as you're dropping that in the comments, I want you to really think about what it is that you are looking forward to in this season. You say, I didn't say in this year, I didn't say tonight, I said in this season. A lot of times, guys, we want things to be finite. We're very fixated on the end result, right? We're results driven. And that's cool, but it alleviates us an ability to be in flow and to have flexibility and to just be. And if you ever identified with recovering perfectionists or perfectionists, a lot of times it's because we're so fixated on, okay, when I do this, this, and this will happen. Drop me a two in the comments if I'm talking to you, because I might be talking to myself, right? But usually I am pretty warm. So when you think about your intentions for this season, I want you to think about the two things that you want to work on. For me, it is taking my time and being fully present. Another thing that I'm working on is moving my body more. And what happens, guys, is if we don't have a target, then how can we hit it? You can't hit a target you do not set. And many times when we are very results driven and we want things to happen the way we want it to happen, the missing key is starting with the foundation of intention setting. So I want you to just really, really think about the two things that you want to work on in this season. And after that, this is the kicker. I need you to think about who you need. Who do I need? Put who do I need in the comments. I'm gonna put it here as well because believe it or not, guys, I put a reel on TikTok and I talked about, learning how to ask for help. And do you guys know that that got so much traction? And not only asking for help, but accepting the help when people say, "Hey, how can I support you? Hey, what can I do for you?" What's usually our response, guys, when people ask us, "What do we need?" It's usually, "I'm good. I don't need anything." And that's okay. But believe it or not, asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. And when we're able to accept help and be okay with asking for help, that not only changes how we show up, but it opens up an opportunity for someone else to shine in their superpower and to share their gifts. Drop a seven in the comments if that makes sense. And so I want to take a couple minutes just to see if anybody has anything on their heart with vulnerability to share what are the two things they're working on and also what it is that they need. Raise your hand if you're here in the Zoom room. I'm going to go ahead and call on you because listen, guys, sharing is caring. And what you'll learn is we are more alike than different. And so many times we think that how we feel or what we want to share, either A, is silly, or B, no one wants to know it because we're a little shameful of it. And I want to just set the record straight. we're more alike than different. So I see Kia with her hand raised. I'm going to spotlight you. Hello, love. Let everybody know who you are and
Hi, every
tell us
okay.
what you want to share. Go ahead, love.
Hello, everyone. My name is Markia. I also go by Kia Rose Masterpiece, as I have showed up today. It's so interesting when I just hopped on exactly what you was talking about, asking for help and then being open to receive help. Um, I actually activated that today. um, yes. So I do something in September, and this will be my fourth year doing it, right? But the first 3 years I've done it by myself, generally, and then I might reach out to other people to like the next couple years after I did it, to show up and be a speaker or something like that. But this year I realized that I thank you. This year I realized that I need support. I needed a admin person to help me conduct what it is that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And divinely somebody popped into my mind or my spirit. And I said, you know what? I'm going to ask them because I know that they are like journeying into the place where I am, and that they were open to receive things from me at the point where I met them, and we were exchanging things as well as reciprocal. So when I reached out to her, she was so excited that I asked her. She was so excited to say yes. And I was just like, wow, because generally in my past, I have been someone who has been, fearful or prideful of asking for help. I'm a Capricorn. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but for me, I could be, work hard, and not express my feelings. So expressing my feelings and acknowledging, that vulnerable space is something that I'm also working on, which
Mm-hmm.
is, saying, look, I'm not okay, or I need help. I just moved to a whole nother state as well. So I've had to ask people for help, because I'm in a transition phase right now of things, and things are different. So also just walking in my truth, that goes right in alignment with everything I just said. Walking in my truth is something that I'm really, working on, and not just showing all the pretty parts and the pretty things that's going on in my life.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Kia, for sharing that. Moving and transitioning is one of the most stressful things in someone's life. And I think sometimes we don't realize the severity of the phase that we're in because we've always done it with our chin up and we've done it by ourselves. And so we kind of normalize the hard stuff. And one thing that I'm really, really leaning into is activating healing while building. You don't have to do it in silos. You can do it simultaneously, and you also can do it in community. A lot of us grew up with, oh, I did it all by myself. I'm strong. And that's cute. But trying to wear that as a badge of honor is actually a cry for help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No one wants to really do it alone.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to thank you for being here. Stay tapped
Thank
in.
you.
We got some amazing thought-provoking speakers. We got some activities coming tonight. Thank you so much. And then
Thank
also,
you.
guys, for anybody who's here, shoot them the Zoom link. At this point, if they sign up or not, I'm not even really worried about that. I want them to be in the room. So shoot them the YouTube link or even the Zoom link. Let me get one more volunteer to share when I ask the question, what are you working on in this season and who do you need? Let me get one more volunteer who wants to share what they added. We would love to hear from you guys. Or we can do voluntold. It's really up to y'all. Okay.
I
All
can
right.
go.
Who we got?
What's the question? Oh, I was going to ask, what's the question directly again?
Yeah. What is two things you're working on in this season? And season is very flexible. If season to you is tonight, then it's tonight. If season to you is the next century, it's really up to you. And then the second question is, who do you need? So I'll let you ponder on that, Allegra. I'll have Sonia go because I've seen her come off mute, and then we'll have you share, okay? Hey, Sonia.
Hi. So you said what am I working on or who am I working on?
What are you working on in this season? And who do you need? I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you. We would love to hear from you. How are you doing?
So who do I need is myself. just for me to show up here, not as my perfection, self, hair out of place, things like that. That is definitely the thing that I work on, is just showing up authentically, showing up as myself, letting go of perfectionism, letting go of self-judgment, self-doubt, judgment from other people. I don't show up at all. Well, I used to not show up at all because I wasn't perfect, because I wasn't put together. So working on that in this season has been monumental for me, just to show up, just to be myself, to let go of the measuring stick that society has, that ruler that we're trying to measure up or to do or to be a certain way, and just be me. So me showing up.
I love that. Let's give her some love in the chats, or even you guys can either use the react button and use whatever you would like. Sonia, thanks for sharing that. Let me ask you this, and I don't know if you joined from my email list or if you joined from Eventbrite, but let me ask you, what made you say I need to be in the room tonight and get some of this healing conversation?
Just the journey that I'm on. So over the last, I would say, year, I've started, really diving in deep. But over the last few months, it's been its deepest. It's just tapping in and listening to myself, listening to intuition, listening on what steps are next, praying for guidance, praying for clarity, and things that have been coming my way have just been exactly what I needed. So I've been taking it, those opportunities.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tapping in. Feel free to definitely hang out with us all night. I know 3 hours might sound like a lot, y'all, but I'll be honest with you. When you have these different speakers from different areas of expertise and the pause moments that we're going to have, it's going to fly by. All right, Allegra, I'm going to spotlight you. We would love to hear your feedback in regards to what you're working on in this season, and who do you need? Go ahead, dear. You're live.
Hey everyone. Okay, hey LaShana, thank you for this space. This was a deep question because I am working on a few things. And what came up for me was I'm working on renewing my mind, because I found that I have leveled up in certain areas, but then, you can get really comfortable. So that's big for me. I actually just had a situation yesterday where I had to catch myself and like really assess what I was actually feeling and dealing with. And then I had to pause and like take time. And it wasn't until the next morning that I actually had a refresher, so just not reacting in the moment of what I'm feeling, right? And just allowing myself time and space to feel it, but then, actually process it and reflect on it afterwards. So that's what came up for me for what I'm working on. And then who do I need? I need people who understand that. Like, I need people who really know where I'm at in that space, and people who have maybe been there before and can give me guidance, and people who are actually going through it and can also give support. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. So you said you need people who understand that. So my follow-up question is, how do you ask for what you need in a way that people can hear it and receive it? So, because sometimes that's a slippery slope, especially if this is something you've been working on and this elevated version of you is a version they've never seen before. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because what can
That's
happen
something to
is
think about.
when we, and mind you, you don't got to answer this now. I just want you to think about that, because if the old Allegra engaged in a certain way, communicated a certain way, expected a certain thing, and then Allegra's doing her inner work, she's focusing on her, she's elevating in life and business, she's doing all the things, that is a different type of Allegra. And so when that Allegra shows up, it might be a disconnect or a wall because it's something different. So we got to figure out not being fake or not changing who we are, but communicating in a way and evolving in a way to where it's receptive and received. Now, mind you, there will be a time where it's not received. We can't focus on the response. All we can focus on is ourselves and how we communicate and how we evolve. So again, you can let that simmer, because let me tell you something about how I operate. I don't plan anything. I didn't plan these two questions. I didn't plan for you guys to come and give me what you're giving. I'm just obedient, and I love that God makes everything happen for a reason. There's a reason why there's a certain amount of people in this room. There's a reason why I ask those questions. And now we all get to learn and grow, because when you're in group settings, it's vicarious learning, right? So, do you have anything to share, Allegra, or do you want to simmer on that and check in with us a little later?
I definitely need to simmer on that. I
Okay.
will check in with y'all later.
Yeah. And thank you for your honesty, because I'm going to simmer on it myself, because at the end of the day, no matter how thick the work is and how intense and how awesome everything that we're doing, we still gotta be conscientious of how we're showing up, because perception is reality. And we can be so gung-ho about the things that we're learning and doing, but everyone around us, they're not there yet. And it doesn't mean we're like, oh, screw you, you're not there yet, catch up soon. There has to be some empathy and some compassion, but not to a point to where we're sacrificing ourselves in the process. That's that slippery slope. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much, Allegra. Y'all, I am super excited. We're also going to be doing some social media contest shares. We have our new Healing While Building Tumblr. I hope y'all can see this. That's going to be a part of one of our prizes we give away. And then I have to do a shameless plug. If you are not signed up for Healing While Building Summit held in Atlanta, Georgia, October 18th and 19th, please go to healingwhilebuildingsummit.com. Grab your ticket, y'all. You do not want to miss this. I'm sure if you follow me, you've seen it, because that's all I've been talking about 25/8. And before we go to our first speaker, I just want to thank you all for taking time out to tap in today. I feel like there's something in the water, there's something in the air when it comes to healing out loud. That's a new thing that I'm going to be leaning into, healing out loud. Healing used to be so silent. It used to be very quiet. We used to just kind of do it. And it was more so of like something heavy to carry. And what I'm seeing is we are empowered by it, and we're proud of it, and we're healing in community, and we're talking about it. We're talking about therapy like it's going to a doctor's appointment, which I love. I actually think that just like kids when they have to go to school and they have to have their shots and their dental records and their doctor's appointment, PCP every year, there should be a mental health support on that line, who is in your mental support system, right? I mean, maybe I'm doing wishful thinking, but I feel like the mental health field has been very reactive. And I'm all about proactivity. Why do we wait until something gets up here where we can't breathe anymore, where we can't function, and then we go and get help or seek a therapist or have to call 911, when you literally can catch it while it's small? You can catch it when things are very, very, very minimal. When you start to have those body ailments, the pain, the headaches, the dry mouth, the fatigue, guys, the body keeps the score. And so the more we're proactive versus reactive, the more we can get ahead of the curve and already have something or someone on speed dial, versus going to Google Psychology Today or whatever those sites are to find support when it's almost too late. So I don't know who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to you, put a 4 in the comments, whether you're here live or on the replay. And what I'm going to do in a short minute is introduce our first speaker. I love that our next speaker focuses on uh, healing in a way of codependency. If you've ever been codependent on anything or anyone, you know that I'm talking to you. And I've never met anyone that specialized in it to where when you think of codependency, you think of this person. So I want you guys to give some sevens in the comments, money signs, whatever it is that you love, that lights up your soul. I would love for you guys to put some love in the comments and in the chat. And Tanisha TJ Self Care, you have the floor.
Hey, thank you, LaShana, so much for that introduction and just for the opportunity to be a part of the Healing While Building Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm excited. I feel like every time I come to one of LaShana's events, the way that she starts, it just gets us so energetic and ready for it. And I just really appreciate that energy, that you have, LaShana. And yeah, tonight normally I have like PowerPoints and all these things. And today I just decided to really have a conversation and just share and be, vulnerable and transparent with you all. So I have been working now as an entrepreneur, wow, since December of 2019. That's crazy. It has been 6 years on my journey. I met Coach Love. I met LaShana and I met a couple of other like amazing people. And we all were kind of just on this journey trying to figure out what we want to do, where we want to start. And I was similar to probably many of you. I only had one thing that I wanted to do when I first started. I just wanted to write. I'd always wanted to be an author, and so I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna write my book. I was turning 35, and I was like, I'm gonna write my book. Oh, thank you, business coach. I appreciate you. I was gonna write my book. So I went through the process of trying to figure out how to write the book, which was nothing like I originally thought it was going to be. The publishing companies and all these things are really challenging to get a deal, especially like a good deal. To get a deal with a good publishing company as a first time author is really almost like a drop out the sky. Like it's something that's not really realistic, so to speak. And I wasn't aware of that. So I ended up like dealing with a vanity press at one point. A vanity press pretty much is like a publishing company that tells you, oh, we're going to help you publish your book, but you have to put all this money up front. So in my spirit, it just didn't feel right that I had to give another agency $3,000 or $5,000 to publish my book. And they weren't going to help me with marketing. They weren't going to help me that much with editing. And these were all things that I knew had to get done. So I kind of put them on the back burner for a minute. And I was on Instagram for about a year already as TJ Self Care, just writing out all the inspirational quotes and things that I always think about. And something was like, you should start just stepping out here. Like, just ask other Black authors, how are they promoting their books? So I was following the hashtag Black authors. And one day I went under it and I just scrolled through and I literally inboxed, I think about 20 or 30 people. I didn't know who they were. I just said, hey, I have my little blurb. I said, hi, my name is Tanisha Johnson. I love your book. I tried to make sure I put the right, the right title for their book to show them some respect. I said, hey, I love your book, XYZ, whatever the title was. I'm just curious, how did you get started? So out of those 20, 30 people, I think I probably only got about 6 responses. A couple people must have like reported me or something because my page was blocked for like a day. I couldn't send anybody messages. All these things you learn, right? As a new entrepreneur, you can only follow a certain amount of people. I didn't know any of this, right? So I was learning along the way. So once I got the information, they connected me she's a self-publishing assistant. Her name is Monique Mensa. So I contacted her. I had the free consultation. I told her my book idea. I told her I had been writing for about 3 months, and I told her that I was pretty much like almost done, just putting some final touches on it. So I started working with her, and she edited my book, and she also explained to me the different types of editing. So she was like, there's copy editing and there's developmental editing. And she was sharing with me that because I'm a new author, she felt like I should do developmental editing. And developmental editing is pretty much when they really look through your book to make sure that what you're saying makes sense, to make sure like your paragraphs connect and that it's a easy read, right, all the way through. So I went ahead and did that. Um, And yeah, I put the book out. I think that was December. Yeah, it was the end of December because my father had passed away July of that year. I was in the process of writing the book. I think that was like in February, and he passed away in July. And in the beginning, I almost stopped, but then, I realized this is something I wanted to do for me. So I can, I told her I wanted to continue on. So I actually put the book out in December. And when I thought about that, my first book process compared to my second, one thing I found was that I have a fearful avoidant attachment style. And with that, I pretty much can easily use work as a way to avoid other complex things in my life that I don't want to deal with. I didn't know how to grieve. And so for me, it was just like I just have to move on. And so in the beginning, my business was the perfect space to just pour in all this time. Or anytime I got sad and started thinking about my dad, I would just hop on live. Hey guys, TJ Self Care. I got this going on. I got this. Right? Because as an entrepreneur, they tell you have to be consistent. You have to show up for your audience. You have to, have all these things, right, in place and do these things consistently so that your business can grow, right? So in my mind, back then, I was like, well, no, I'm not. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. If I don't go live every week, how are people going to know I'm here? If I don't talk about my book, how are they going to know that the book is here, right? I was completely out of touch with my own emotions. So I put the book out in December 2019, and the first day I had like 100 sales. And in the beginning, when you first do your book, right? Thank you, Coach Love. When you first promote your book, right? All of us who already have books, we know the first 30, 40 orders, it'd be like family, friends, it's some people you be like, I better see your name, right? As much as I've done for you, I better see my sister name. I better see my niece name, right? It's some names you be like, yeah, I better see my best friend name. But then after about 40 orders, I was like, who are these people? Because I'm in California. So it was people like Texas, New York, Hawaii. I was joking with my friend. I said, girl, the book going more places than I've been. I was like, Ohio, who are all these people? And it finally hit me, Tanisha, the people that you've been talking to every year about this book, they are ready. So now you're doing the pre-orders, and it's the people that you've been going online with all this time. So I'm excited and I'm just going through this journey. And then 2021 hits, and I'm like, okay, it's been 2 years. I need to write another book. So I'm not sure if you guys remember, but was it Trump? I don't know who it was, but when they were giving out stimulus checks, right? I still have my 9 to 5. So the first time I didn't get anything. And I was just like, whatever, right? The second time I got something, and it was around the same time that I was supposed to promote my book. So I'm thinking I'm being all, like mature, like I'm 37 out here now. I'm like, hey, I ain't about to spend my money. The government gonna help me write my next book, right? In my mind. So I hit up, my editor, and I say, hey, I want to put this deposit on my next book. That was 2021. I didn't finish writing the book until 2023. And when I looked at the process, that's when it became clear to me that, oh, okay, I get it. Due to my own trauma and past, I wasn't aware of back then in 2019 that my dad passing and all these other things that were happening, I couldn't handle. And so work was an outlet, right? But in 2023, or somewhere, I guess, between 2021 and 2023, it was almost like this pause that happened. And I said, I don't want to work anymore when I'm tired. I don't want to exert myself. Right. And then as entrepreneurs, we go down these rabbit holes about pricing and all these things. And I could see how I had overgave. I had clients who got, a program that should have been $1,200 for like $400. It was so many little things happening in my business that I literally had to pause and I had to ask myself, do I still want to do this? So around 2023, I said, yes, I still want to do this. And so I finished my book. And then I started going through the whole process of like editing it and getting the cover for it and all those things. And now, as I sit here, because of all these things that unfolded over these years, after 5 or 6 years, I finally know what I do because I always thought that I was a self-care coach, right? Right. Rich, I didn't even get a chance to share that little piece. I actually didn't want to be a coach. I just wanted to write my book. My whole thing was I'm going to write my book and I'm going to make millions of dollars just off of my books. And I'm going to be speaking and I'm going to be flying all over the world, right? That was my dream. But what actually ended up happening is in 2020, when people actually started getting my book, then people started coming to me and saying, hey, can you help me heal how you healed from people pleasing? And I wasn't expecting that. Now, at my 9 to 5, I am a counselor. So it's not that I didn't have the credentials or the experience to do it. I just wasn't prepared to do it. So it's like that's an example of how when we do start on our journey, sometimes it turns and switches. And I remember I came to LaShana like, well, people are asking me, like, hey, I want to coach and I can do it, but like, should I be doing it? And LaShana was like, Tanisha, you got to think about your offers. And I was like, offers? What is that? So I ended up just out the blue one day. This one of the girls that read my book, she was pleading with me. She was like, Tanisha, whenever you have some type of coaching program, please help me because I know you know how to do this because I read your book. So then I ended up, off that same fuel of like avoidance, right? Avoiding my feelings about my personal life. I just dove into the business. And now in my mind, I'm like, well, people need me. I got to figure this out. So I literally stayed up for like 2 days straight and I created my whole curriculum for my coaching program. And we didn't have no GPT back then. Okay. So I was literally in all my textbooks from my master's program that I never threw away. My friends thought I was crazy because I kept my books. I was so happy that I had kept all my books because I used the books. I used my own because I went through a 12-step recovery program called Celebrate Recovery. It's like a Christian based 12-step group. And then I also took Codependent Anonymous meetings. I went to like a whole bunch of those as well. I kept all my curriculum, I kept all my journals, and I literally highlighted all my pain points. I went through my personal diary, and I said, okay, what was a hard challenge when I was going through this? And the first thing that stood out is I remember being irritated about boundaries. I didn't know what boundaries were. I didn't know how to set them. So I said, okay, Tanisha, you need to teach people about boundaries. And everything that was a pain point for me, I highlighted it and I said, this is what I have to teach. And so the curriculum, of course, just got better and better because I continued to research how to make it stronger. With every client, I got better and better. And yeah, 6 years later, I finally know that I'm a trauma response coach because it's not just people who have codependency that come to me. It's pretty much anybody who has experienced a level of trauma that has all these triggers that are now impacting and shaping their life. And it's been a beautiful journey to work with LaShana, Coach Love. And I only got a couple minutes left. But I also want to share that when you just naturally go through the journey, you learn about yourself. As I was having to go out here and continue to build, I also saw that I was fearful of building with people. because my past taught me you can't trust people. People are going to hurt you. What if these people steal your ideas? What if these people say that you're going to be a part of something and then it doesn't happen? Tanisha, what are you going to do? So I was constantly putting myself in situations where I had to work with people. And I ended up working through my own triggers without even realizing it. Because I did get burned. I became friends with an entrepreneur. Some personal stuff happened between her and I. I was like, okay, I don't know about this girl anymore. But something in my mind said, you may not be able to deal with her personally anymore, but don't be so quick to cut her off. What happened 5 months later is when her and I mended our friendship. 2 months after that, she got a big opportunity with somebody bigger than her and I. And when he needed help, she told him about me. And I said to myself, wow, thank you, Jesus, because if I would have allowed the old Tanisha and the old ways that I dealt, because I used to cut people off, red, like that. You do some shady stuff to me, that's it. You don't got to worry about me no more. I was that type of person. But I realized that I couldn't be that way in business, right? Because you never know who's attached to your next level, because that for anybody who I want to respect everybody's beliefs, but it's like God, the divine, that's how they work through people. So I had to get in my mind, Tanisha, if you are afraid to work with people, how how is God, how is the universe going to bless you, right? So it has been a really, really amazing, interesting journey of trying to heal from my own wounds and then being in spaces where I'm supporting other people and navigating how to heal for themselves. And I can see how it shaped my business in so many ways. And the opportunities that I have now to speak, I didn't have those. It's like now I teach classes in a couples group. Like 6 years ago, I know how to work with couples. But as I continue to work with people, especially us as women, we love our men. I was working with clients, and then all of a sudden, I would turn the Zoom on, and it's this other person. And I was telling God, why are people bringing their men to the sessions? Like, I don't know how and even like I had a couple even that was same sex. I was like, why are people bringing their mates to me? I don't know how to help these people. But that was a setup for where I am now. So it's been an amazing roller coaster journey that I'm honored to be a part of. Thank you, LaShana.
Hold up, boo. Listen, baby, we gotta unpack a couple things. First of all, let's give it up for the one and only TJ Self Care. Don't forget the TJ. Don't forget the care.
Yeah.
Okay. So hold up. Let me just conceptualize. Basically, you did your own work and you realize what irritated you, which was the boundaries piece and the codependency piece, and you engage in exposure therapy. You did the thing that you was afraid to do. And I heard you say you also was simultaneously working on your triggers without even knowing it when it came to being traumatized by trusting others. Yo, it's so funny because entrepreneurship is the number one self-development tool that we could ever experience. And the reason why is when you want to go to therapy, you conscientiously say, okay, I'm gonna go to therapy. I'm gonna find somebody to help me. I'm gonna go. In business, y'all, sometimes it's just in your lap. And you could be on a session if you're a coach, and there's a breakthrough for you and a breakthrough for them. And what I love also, Tanisha, is it was almost like when I was talking to Allegra and I mentioned, we can't just cut people off. We got to be compassionate. We have to do our due diligence, et cetera, et cetera. And what would have happened if you would have just did what old Tanisha would have did and just cut ties and ghosted? This is the thing, and this is what I tell my clients. When we're working on things that we don't want to do, it's not about the person. It's not about that current person or situation. It's for the future boyfriend that you have, or the future potential business bestie, or the future supervisor. So having hard conversations, guys, we can't run from that. It has to happen because it's inevitable that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Tanisha, I'm just so proud of you because we met when we both got into the game. And even back then, I was a new at what I'm doing, but I knew we have to create offers in order to make a true impact. A book is cool, a book is cute, a master class is cool, a master class is cute. But people need a more thorough, deeper transformation. You can't do that in a book. I don't care how bomb your book is. Shameless plug, I'm actually working on mine, but it's only so much someone can get from a book or a masterclass or a 2-day boot camp. They need a comprehensive framework that is yours. Step one to step two, what did you do to overcome XYZ? And now, when what you said, don't tell me what kind of coach you are. Trauma response coach, I hear
Yeah.
impact income, baby. Okay? Because that's not even trauma informed coach. It's trauma response. So before we let you go, what's the difference between trauma informed and trauma response?
So for trauma informed, it's a person that knows is a person that knows about trauma. They know like how to care for people who have been through traumatic experiences.
Mhm.
Whereas with trauma response, I help people understand their triggers and their responses to the triggers and help them find ways that they can, well, I call them emotional tools, help them to be able to understand how their emotional tools are impacting their relationship and why.
Baby. I'm so excited, yo, because this is the first you ain't even share that with me. Okay.
No, I just got this like what 3 months ago. I was like, oh, that's because codependency is a trauma response.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, oh, well, that's what I am then.
Oh my God. And this is the thing, guys. For those who maybe lack clarity and you're trying to figure it out, I always talk about my triple T method. You have to try, test, and tweak. You're not supposed to know everything. If you did, it wouldn't be realistic because that's not reality. And in order to get refined and get deeper to your impact, you got to do something. And so by Tanisha, yes, she's working her 9 to 5 and she's serving with her master's because she's a social worker. But by her saying, you know what, there's more out for me in this world. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write another book. I'm going to coach. I'm going to serve. The more people that she's seeing the themes of them saying the same things, she starts to go deeper with her own superpower. Fast forward, and now we know trauma response is just the first level. Because, baby, there's so much more to what you're doing, which I know, and there's so much more to what we're all doing. But I just love that when we don't give up, we actually get a deeper breakthrough internally as a person, which then the world gets impact residue off of the yes that we say and the obedience that we do. I don't know if y'all caught that because I really just it felt good to me. Okay. All right, cool. So listen, Tanisha, let everybody know where they can find you and if you have anything for them to get plugged into to get a deeper connection with you. Let everybody know.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm. You got a link or something you want to drop or the call to action, girl? What you doing? You multitasking?
Oh, I thought you was gonna, I was just gonna put it in a link. But no, I have a workshop coming up August 23rd that I think it will be helpful for people here. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's called The Mirror Within, Using Self-Awareness to Heal, because I feel like when we have a better understanding of actually who we are, what our triggers are, what are the impacts of trauma, it can help you. And I mean, and maybe you won't go on a 5, 6 year journey, like I did, of trying to figure out who you are. Imagine if you already knew that and then you could create your business based on that.
Oh, I love that. So, guys, she has it in the comments here on Zoom, and I'll be popping it on YouTube as well. We're going to take a 5-minute intermission and then we're going to resume with our group roundtable. So, this is a great time for you to get in your stories, for you to share what's been resonating. Let me remove my spotlight so we're just all on camera. I was sharing earlier that we have some cool goodies. This is a Healing While Building tumbler. Our VIP people who are coming to our summit, they get one in their gift bag. But I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and give out a couple tumblers tonight. Healing While Building tumbler. It has like a gold encrusted. Y'all need to get this. Okay. All you gotta do. We're gonna do a 5-minute intermission. Go in your stories. I need you to share what has been your biggest breakthrough, what you're excited about with the Healing While Building Summit. You can also do like a boomerang of our screen right now. Have fun with it. And we're going to come back at, let's see what we got. We're going to come back in 5 minutes. So it don't take long for you to put your beautiful face. You put a filter on if you need to, okay? Also, who can come off mute? Let me get everybody off mute because I want us to give a wave. You can even use this for your video. Come on off mute. I need y'all to wave it up so we can let everybody know we in the building. Go ahead.
Hey.
Hey, we healing while building.
I'll let you in there. A little ghetto. All right, y'all. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. I'm gonna get y'all some music for the one time.
That was so fun.
Yes, I want to say I was not expecting to be on here today. I just got I just seen it in my email. I was literally like cooking dinner or something, and I just happened to look down at my phone and I said healing summit or Zoom, and then I was like, free? Oh yeah, I'm getting on there.
Let's go. All right, we'll
Well,
see you in
thank
a
you
couple
for
minutes.
coming here.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I'm grateful.
Fever pictures bringing me out the dark.
That's my girl.
I see you crystal clear. Don't tell me out and I'll lay your ship, babe. See, I believe with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart. Reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me
I'm
of
trying to start
they
something, y'all.
keep
Playing this
me
song.
thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling.
Downstairs?
That's my phone.
I like that one too.
Can somebody ask? Listen, I love her. Can we just say like she's part of that awesome group of people that we are saying and we be thinking they look like us and they don't. You be
No
like, what?
story to be told.
She has a beautiful voice. I love her.
On you, and I'm gonna make your head burn. Think of me in the depths of your despair. Thinking down there is my soul won't be shared. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me dead. 'Cause I can't help feeling we could have had.
TJ, so good to see you. I had to say that out loud. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm coming to your workshop too. I'm coming to your workshop.
Oh, yeah, come on. It's great. You should. I forgot to put it, but also I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. But so far on Sundays at 7, I've been meeting virtually with everybody who just wants to journal and process the week. I should put
Nice.
that one in there too.
Oh, you should share that. Send it to me on Instagram. I would love to do that. You know, I live to journal, girl. I love journaling. That would be fun and
Yeah,
very therapeutic.
I just started reading your book. I've had it for 2 years.
Listen, thank you for even being. I remember Oh, I can't wait till it's my turn because everybody has to hear that. But I remember being one of the first people to say to you, girl, you better write that book.
You were.
I was
Yeah,
like, you don't write
LaShana,
that
I
book?
forgot to even share how me and LaShana, we watched David Chan's. I think about David now, like, wow.
Yep.
Because,
Yeah.
Hey
Because I
guys,
think we met at what, the morning meetup? That was during the
can you hear me?
pandemic. It's been
Hey, are y'all
years.
able to hear me?
I
wait,
hear you.
is that LaShana?
That's
Yeah,
LaShawn.
I'm making sure y'all can hear me. We're about to resume. Thank you guys for taking that quick break.
Mommy,
So for
go
our
get some water.
speakers, I'm
Water?
about to
Go get some.
spotlight all of our speakers. Please make sure that you're on mute. Coach Love, I don't know what happened to your background.
Hey, you can go get some water. Go get some water.
All right.
Listen, my technology was not teching,
It is
and it
all
looked so pretty on the laptop. But when I came on, I saw you and TJ. My face wasn't appearing, and the sound and everything was bad. So I just switched to another device because I
okay.
didn't want to be super late trying to log
You look
in. But
beautiful. You look beautiful. No
thank
worries.
you. I
All right,
tried.
guys. We're about to do a round table chat. So excited to have these ladies. We also have Dr. Michelle. I don't think she's here, so unfortunately she won't be able to be on the panel. I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourself, and then we're just gonna have a chat about the art of healing. Coach Love, let's start with you.
LaShana. Y'all can count on LaShana to always put you in the hot seat. I think she got that idea. You know, the other person that does that a lot and enjoys it is David Shands. Ironically, that's how I met LaShana. LaShana used to introduce David on the morning meetup like 5 or 6 years ago, right? That's how long, when TJ said that's how long we've known each other that long. We've been getting to know each other that long. So thank you for even letting me be here, LaShana. Thank you for always being willing to encourage me to come out because I like want to be so incognito. And yes, I'm getting slightly emotional because I remember LaShana would be like, "Come on, Coach Love," and I'd be like, "No, LaShana, no, 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 I don't want to do it." But they're happy tears now because I do realize the importance of what we do, that our voices matter, that people need to see that there are women of color that are doing the work, that are willing to have healthy conversations and healthy living and lifestyles around
Yeah.
mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness, right? We've seen what people project about us in the media. We're not all, loving hip hop. We're not all somebody's housewife fighting over somebody's husband, none of that. We're actually very resourceful. We're very cheeky. We have great senses of humor. We have big hearts. We're dedicated. We love ourselves. We've loved on each other throughout this process. So I'm always excited to be in the room for those kinds of moments. But yes, Coach Love. Somebody asked me recently where that come from. I was like, now that I remember, I said LaShana and them started. I was like, I just happened to. I'd be like, hey, and then they was like calling me Dr. Coach Love, and I was like, what? And then it just stuck. But the reality is, the first four letters of my name are love. So I do have to live that out. My mama named me, but God gave me this gift that I have to show up as love in the world. So despite anything and everything, that's typically what you'll receive from me. And I always say that if you don't feel like you're loved and cared for in the moments that you spend with me, then I am not being obedient. And let me just say, I'm no longer in the season of not being obedient. So I'm here today not just as a teacher, but also as a student. I love what I've been hearing so far from what everybody's been sharing. Um, I can also attest to what TJ said. Like I started out thinking like I was going to do one thing and then transition to something else. So now I like to say that I am officially a certified self-mastery love coach for Black boys and men.
That-
Our boys matter, our men matter. And just as a Black woman, as a Black daughter, as a Black mother, there's a really beautiful nuance that I get to have from all those vantage points, right? So that's how I show up in the world day to day. But I love again to be in spaces like this where I get to support my fellow sisters, my fellow queens, coaches, authors. LaShana's next in the group. Clap it up for her. It's awesome when somebody pours into you, they teach you something. LaShana started out teaching us something. And I love that now I think I can honestly say she's learned something from TJ and I as authors, and she felt inspired enough to do the work. So now we can say, hey, we gave her something back. And I can't wait to see that book, LaShana. I want my copy signed. And that tumbler, I need that because it matched the mug you gave me when I saw it in April.
Listen,
I was getting ready to say, can you drop the link
Did I
for
get one
us?
of
I
those?
want to get.
we have these for sale. Y'all know I'm a hustler and a thug. Matter of fact, hold up. Let me turn this off so y'all can really see them. Cause baby, let me tell y'all something. You don't want to miss these. So these are our healing while building tumblers, but these are not even the dopest, y'all. Okay. This right here. If you are a sparkle girl or sparkle boy, this is the one that you do not want to pass on, okay? So,
Oh,
mind you, we're gonna raffle off two tonight, and if you're not at Healing While Building Summit and you want to order one, just message me. All right, Coach Love, thank you so much for your intro, and also, ladies, because you're introducing yourself now, when it's your turn to speak, you don't have to introduce yourself again, because as you guys know, we're on a time crunch. But thank you so much, Coach Love. I'm excited to join the authorship crew. I have your book. My ADHD won't let me read nobody's book, so I have not read it yet. I'm not even gonna cap. I ain't even read Tanisha's book yet. I'm just being transparent. I'm working on it. Okay, I'll read the first sentence and then I'm off to the races. So we gonna figure it out. Okay, anyway, that was a whole okay. TJ, you good, love. We just learned a lot about you. So, April, let everybody know who you are. And then we're going to go to our first question, which I already posted in the comments, because for those who are viewing, I want you to think about the question too. April Jackson Hunter, let everybody know who you are.
Hey, I am everybody's favorite hashtag plus size art debate, April M. Jackson Hunter. I am the author of Hey Fat Girl, that is PHAT, not FAT, A Fat Girl's Guide to Loving Yourself Back to Life. And what I do as a nutshell as a coach is I help individuals who are on the repetitive roller coaster of dieting, losing weight, gaining it back, jump ship, and keep the weight off. And where does that start off? It starts in the mind. So tonight I'm gonna share with you how true healing starts in the mind.
I love it. Okay, guys. So listen, and for those tuning in, I want y'all to be active participants. So I want you guys to answer the question in the chat. But my first question is, healing looks different on everyone, as we know. We know that healing is a journey. We know that someone could be healing, and it's very cute, very demure. It's someone who could be healing who is like rocking and rolling, and they done disappear for 90 days doing what they need to do. And then you got some people who are healing while building, and you will never know that they're, and this is the thing, healing is not always like a negative thing. Sometimes it is a something that is just so innovative and so magical that it's just energized. But my question to you is, how did you first recognize what your healing process needed to look like for you? Okay, for you. What was
mm,
that thing that made you recognize, okay, this is what it needs to look like for me? Whoever wants to jump in.
I'll jump
mm.
in.
Okay.
Healing for me is every day. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I was also sexually assaulted when I was 16 years old. And to be honest with you guys, I suffer from PTSD. I suffer from anxiety. I have panic attacks. I have insomnia. So one day I could be good, and next day I could be at the bottom of the barrel. So that's like it's an everyday journey for me. I'm constantly walking my healing journey, and I try, different avenues to what healing look like for me. And really, this journey started with a journal. My counselor told me to write a journal to get some recurring nightmares out of my head, and that journal turned into my book series called the Mercedes Closet series. Is one of them is Mercedes Closet Keeping Deadly Secrets, and the other one is Mercedes Closet 2 Lust, Lies, and Deadly Entanglements. And those are my fictional versions of my life with domestic violence. And that's how I got to the point to be able to face myself in the mirror, just getting it out of my head on paper. So I encourage everybody to do whatever you feel like in your heart tells you to do to proceed with your healing journey, because it's not pretty and it's not going to come overnight. It's a process. That's why it's called a journey. And just be forgiving with yourself, love on yourself, and just keep pushing forward.
Mm, let's give Tammy some love. Give her some snaps. Give her some
I
emojis.
love that,
Um,
April.
I
That's good.
love this for you. Not Tammy. Girl, I'm looking at the Tammy Jackson
April.
Hunt.
April.
I
That's
know.
my wife.
Look, that's boy, I think I'm newer to Virgin. I swear to God. All right.
That's my wife.
Anyway, y'all, I'm literally looking at. Okay, sorry, y'all. Anyway, thank you, wifey. Thank you, April, because this is the thing.
Thank you,
You
April.
can't navigate on this journey alone if you don't have aligned love and support. So I think it
Mhm.
was a Freudian slip of me looking at her in the square and saying her name. Look, I'm obedient. Thank you, God. We'll take it. All right, Coach Love or TJ, what is your insight about that question?
Um, I have to say that mine's is the same as April's only because if you've heard my story, my healing journey started very early. I started therapy and things and those sorts of resources as a child, like in elementary school. If you've ever heard the saying that like children are meant to be seen and not heard, with everything that I endured and suffered through during that time, I didn't feel like it would be safe for me to heal out loud, so to speak. So before the first therapy session I ever had, the one thing I always thought was sacred and that kept me through all those hard moments was the fact that I kept, back then we called it a diary, right? You had to wrap it up. You had a lock and key on it, and you hid it because you was hoping nobody was gonna find it because they was gonna see all the stuff you had said about everybody. And so, you would just write those things. But true to what April said, it gave me I always tell people that faith is feeling as if there's always hope. I make an acronym for every word, right? And writing is what gave me that feeling of hope that that eventually I would be okay, because it felt sacred to be able to share how I felt, but at the same time, knowing I could share it and it not directly impact anyone as of yet, right? Because I had a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings that I wanted to get out of my physical spirit and out of my mind. But I knew I wasn't quite ready to share out loud. And then naturally, of course, at some point, that's what took place. So when you said that, LaShana, like that's what it's like now at 45, but that's taken all my life to get to that point. But I remember one of the first things that was so impactful about my first therapy session, I was 9 years old, was that the therapist said, she said, if there's anything from this point on that you ever feel you need to say, I want you to say it. She's like, it doesn't matter how it looks, how it sounds. Don't worry about people judging you, but you can no longer hold this to your chest, like, so to speak, because you don't have peace, right? And you don't understand what peace is at 9 and 10 years old, right? But now as an adult, it's still something that that day to day, again, like Queen April said, is something that I look for. It's something that I have to have. So I'm always thinking, what can I do to find just a little bit of peace in the moment, to find that little bit of light, a little bit more love in the moment, that keeps me from staying in that dark place. I think it has to look however the hell it has to look, right? I don't care if I'm crying. As y'all can see, I don't care if my hair is messed up. I may not have no makeup on. I might not have my favorite outfit on. It doesn't matter. Like day to day and moment to moment, it could look real ugly, right? It could be like the ugly, crazy face, the ugly tears. It could be, your voice cracking. And then other times, the healing moments are just me, again, crying happy tears or just smiling or just being, I have a big thing about gratitude and just positively affirming what's good in my life and what's coming. And those things I like to do out loud. And I think that's a big part of what I've allowed myself to incorporate into my coaching, especially for the men and the boys, because they're not taught that it's okay to do that out loud, right? So I like to do it out loud as an example, but as an honest and integral example, right? Because people need to see that. People need to, especially for us, our diaspora has experienced so much trauma historically, and even currently, right? We're never going to be out of the space of what TJ mentioned of us responding to trauma. We live in that all day, every day, but there's no way to get away from it. What we learn to do is either hide it or suppress it or, lie about it or pretend about it. There's not a lot of comfortable spaces to just out loud say, look, today I'm not feeling it, or today I'm not at a 10. Today I don't like everything about myself. I don't love everything about myself. And just know that it's okay to feel however you're feeling about your healing journey. And I love again what April said, that it's a forever kind of thing. It's forever. It's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So all your life, you saw Color Purple all my life. all your life you're going to be healing. All your life you're going to be doing your heart work. And I want you to be proud about that. Pat yourself on the back for being willing to have the courage to do it, because it's not an easy journey, but it's certainly worth the effort.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear the claps? Maybe not. Yes, no. Could y'all hear him? Oh, okay. I'm up here using my EQ line. It was like, "Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da." Man, oh, Freudian slip, called you Dr. Love. I don't know if you think about being a doctor, but you better go and do it. Thank you so much.
Pause. That doctorate class is on pause, girl. I need a break. I'm going on sabbatical first.
Look, that was so deep. What came to my mind, Coach Love, is that what a blessing that you had mental health support at age 9. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of us that didn't get any until adulthood, and it's because we went and sought after it ourselves, right? And I think it's such a blessing. I don't know how you made it there, who the family member was, or whoever it was, the support system that sat you in that office with that woman. Such a blessing. Such a blessing. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about that when you speak. But I'm just grateful for that, because a lot of us didn't make it there, and a lot of us haven't made it there yet, because this is no shame if you never sought therapy or support, that anyone's better. Your journey is your journey, right? All right, TJ Self Care. Before I move to you, I want to share what Andrea said Drea in the chat. She said healing isn't a straight line, it's more of a spiral. You may revisit old pain, but each time you meet it with more wisdom, resilience, and gentleness than before. Healing is a process of restoration. Baby, I ain't talked to you in a minute, Drea, but baby, I can tell you've been in your healing bag, and you've been in your wisdom bag, your spiritual bag, your holistic bag. So I'm super excited for you. That piece right there is so good. And if you guys haven't shared yet, please pop it in the comments, because we are all learning differently, whether we're talking, whether we're reading, whether we're just listening, and while we frying chicken, like, we all learning, okay? All right, and that's supposed to be a joke, but I ain't seen none of y'all laugh out loud, but it's cool. TJ, what you got for us, boo? You remember the question? You might have to scroll up.
When I looked at the question, what stood out to me was during this entrepreneur journey again, is when I realized that healing had to be bigger than what I thought it was, because I thought I was done. I had been in therapy for 4 years. I too was um, I think I was 13? No, I was in high school. I think I was 14 or 15 when I was in counseling at school. And so I knew about, talking to people to gain insight. But when I was 27, that's when I really decided, okay, I'm going to go to therapy, for this whole codependency thing. But after about 3 years of it, I thought I was finished. It wasn't until I started helping other people on their journey when I understood that, okay, I did my healing work, but I haven't been growing. I haven't been putting myself in settings where I can be triggered to see if I'm going to respond differently. I haven't been giving myself self-compassion. I haven't been resilient, like Andrea was mentioning in her statement. But when I started walking other people through their journey and they had questions, like, well, Tanisha, how do I trust myself? Or how do I do this? I didn't know myself. And that's when I realized, oh, it has to be deeper than what I've done. So I think even in that sense, as an entrepreneur, who is it? LaShana, was it you that told me? But somebody told me, like, sometimes when you run out of content, it's because you need to get back in the bag and actually understand what you do.
Mhm. I'm not gonna take credit for that. That's not my bar. But I agree. I agree with that. So before we move to our last question, I would like to answer it myself as well. First of all, can we give it up for these ladies? I know this. I appreciate y'all trusting me, because nobody asked, like, what is this about? What are we doing? Y'all just seen the title. Y'all seen you gonna be a speaker, and you agreed. And most people are receptive to what I put out because of my consistency, but also because of the the curated safe space that I provide, right? There's no such thing as a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly share. I don't care if you got your bonnet on, your wig pushed to the left, the right. It don't matter. Come, don't, and I say you, Coach Lev. Come as you are. All right, cool. So the question is, healing looks different for everyone. How did you first recognize what your healing process needed to look like for you? So for me, every therapist needs a therapist, every coach needs a coach, but I'm very stubborn, and there's a lot of times where I was serving and pouring and saying do this and getting transformation, and I wasn't seeking help and getting support myself. And what that does, it really increases imposter syndrome, because how can you point the finger but you have three or four pointing back at you, right? And so what I realized was my healing process can look different, but I also need to have a safe space and a sounding board, especially if I'm pouring and giving to everyone else. And so that's when I started sharing my resiliency story. And when I speak, I'm going to share with you guys how to craft your resiliency story, but it's literally sharing what happened for you. I don't say what happened to you, because we don't take a victim mentality. It's what happened for you. How did it make you feel? And what did you do about it? Right? Those steps in that process and that resiliency story is literally what people pay you for, because 99% of the time, we're walking someone through where we've already been. We're teaching someone how to overcome something that we've already been able to overcome, right? And if you're like, "Oh, I don't have a framework. I don't have a resiliency story." Yes, you do. You just haven't pulled it out. You just haven't gotten the clarity that you need, but we all have one. So when I crafted intentionally my resiliency story and I wasn't afraid to share it, it literally opened up the floodgates. And what I mean by that is it helped me to release all of this shame and embarrassment and hesitancy that I had of, well, if I share about what happened that my mom was involved in, is she going to be mad? And if I share this that my dad was involved in, are they going to be mad? And what I realized was this ain't about them. My story is my glory, and my story is not even for me, it's for someone else. And so me sharing that both parents were addicted to crack cocaine, like, it's not me projecting, it's not me blaming, it's letting people know I understand what you've been through. I have something similar, and this is not a comparison of whose trauma was the worst, but in short, if I can still function with having a ACE score, adverse childhood experience, if you guys ever heard of it, basically statistics will say the higher you score, the more susceptible you are to what I call drug, sex, and rock and roll. So severe mental health, probably 5, 6 baby daddies or baby mamas. You might be incarcerated or not even around. You might be dead. That's what the stats say. Well, guess what? I scored a 10 out of 10. And I'm here serving, doing all the things, living a full, abundant life. I'm not going to just rattle off all my accolades. And so that's why I show my resiliency story, because it helps people to relate and it helps people to see I'm no different than you. You're no different than me. We just got to make sound decisions so we can move through the blocks that we have. And so, in short, I just needed to know that my process of healing was healing out loud, healing with others, providing safe space, and making sure that I ask for help so I keep my cup full instead of empty. Yeah, I know I just gave y'all a whole TED talk. But anyway, all right, let me get one more share and then we're going to move to our next question. Ladies, do you have anything that you want to share that has come up for you, that you want to kind of pull out before we move to the next question?
I'll share.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yep, is that Sonia?
Yes. So just to, how you always think that you're the only one going through something. So I am as one of the speakers said, like a trauma response person, the people pleasing, the anxiety, the anxious attachment, the low self-esteem, all that stuff, the shame. It was like shame and guilt are the biggest like hold on me. The shame of letting go. My dad was a drug user, alcoholic. My ex-husband was alcoholic and been in prison most of our marriage before we got divorced. My, twins struggle with criminal problems. So it's like all this is the shame of how do people look at me until just recently breaking that to say, if you can't look at me for who I am and what I've gone through, you don't need to be in my circle. So to know that other people have been through that, other people have still elevated and told a story that still helps somebody else. I see so much in what you guys are saying, so much of myself in there to know that this is my calling to be able to help other ladies over 50 to be able to get through all of those shameful people pleasing attachment low self-esteem areas of their life and overcome that. I would have never spoken out in the past, never put myself out there for criticism to be outside of that perfectionism that I talked about earlier. That just had me in a chokehold. And then to finally make my own decisions over, like you said, my mom has passed away, but my dad is there. What will people say? What will my mom's brothers and sisters say? Like, oh, you can't say that, but this is still my life, my reality of what happened. And it may hurt you. It's not being said to be hurtful, but you may feel a way about it. But I still have to express it in order to know where I came from and how I got to being a people pleaser. Why is that? Why do you have that anxious attachment? It had to come from you not getting it in the past, and that's from your parents. So it's not to make you a bad parent, but you have to address the reality of it.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sonia. I
You're
might not
welcome.
spotlight everyone, but whenever we have a little time, I want to make sure you guys are able to share. I see Dr. Michelle Van is up in the building. She's also one of our amazing speakers. We have one more question for the roundtable chat, and then we'll continue on with the night. So the next question is, guys, because I believe that community is unity. What role has community or connection played in your ability to heal, and how can others find the right support system? And the reason why I have that the second piece of it is because some of us maybe live in a small town, or we have a background of not getting support, and it's like this crab in a barrel mentality, right? I know from where I come from, that's what it was. And so if we're still there, or we might have family that's not supportive, so they just
Mhm.
don't know where to look. So the first question is,
Right.
what role has support and community played, and how can
Mm.
you find the right support system? Coach Love, I see you off mute. We'll start with you. And ladies, we'll keep it to about a minute max, just so we won't go over time.
Okay. Um, Community and connection has been the foundation of having like substantial progress in healing. Just because you realize, that you're not the only person, right? That's endured or suffered or had any pain or any of that. I think it matters a lot to know when you're not the only person, right? I mean, you're not the only person that's been through something, but it feels differently where people really see you and people are really listening. There's no judgment, there's acceptance, there's understanding, there's like grace and compassion. I think that matters more than we can really articulate. And then one way to find, no matter where you are in the world, look where we are right now. We're all in different parts of the world, but we're connected here virtually. Do not denounce the power of virtual support. I will say that again. Do not denounce the power of virtual support. Most often, some of the biggest breakthroughs. LaShana, I remember your first breakthrough with forgiveness at one of your events you hosted, and you had me as a speaker, probably one of my second or third times, and I talked about forgiveness, and it was done virtually, right? So use what you have. You have your phone, you have a laptop. You got Chat GPT now, it'll categorize all different kinds of resources and things that are available, locally, domestically, and even internationally, because we're all connected, whether we want to be or not. So I would say that's definitely an absolute way you can find resources and find support and find help. Let me say that again. You can find support and help. Help and support are not the same thing, but you can find the both of those or one and the other virtually if you seek that out.
Love it. Thank you. And I love virtual because you got everything at your fingertips and you can save time and be specific with the type of support you need. So do not sleep on Chat GPT, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the things, y'all. Like it's there for a reason. Love it. Who's next? Who wants to expound on that question? All right, April.
Let me unmute myself. No, I think community and connections play a huge role for me. It's more of an accountability thing for me because it's easy for me to sulk and go back into not wanting to get out my bed or not want to even just process and move forward. But if you have a community that stands behind you, that expects certain things from you, and they hold you accountable to not allow yourself to revert back into old depression ways. It helps you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I like going to support group meetings. We used to have one with our nonprofit, and it's just like seeing other people experience the same thing you experienced. And I felt like finally somebody get me. I'm not going crazy. This is not just in my head. So I kind of hold community as far as like an accountability thing for me, and it's much needed.
Mm, I love that. I agree. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I think on this journey of trying to just figure out, keep my own autonomy outside of my brand, because that was an issue for me at one point. I felt like TJ Self Care and Tanisha had kind of blended together. And um, I try to have my own community outside of my business and then have my community, like for my healing and then community, and just for the business too. And I kind of had to separate things from myself so that I can make sure I'm nurtured all the way around. Because what I found is like when I was focused on my business, I lost touch with a lot of family members and friends because they couldn't support me on my business. Um, and then as the business increased, I realized that I still need support though for my own healing journey. And so then I had returned to like codependent anonymous meetings and stuff so that I can continue to get the support I needed. And I continue with my own therapy. And I think it was through those experiences I was able to really learn my own identity outside of the business. Because it can be really tricky when we start because we're so excited that it kind of becomes your life for a while.
Man, that's so huge. Um, and I think if we get too, I don't believe in balance. I believe in harmony, right? So it's like if we get too deep on one end, like business, I'm rocking, I'm rolling, I'm trying to make money. Where's the social life? Where's the love life? How are you as a parent? What is your relationship with whatever the entity is that you believe in, right? Nothing is going to be on balance. However, can you have harmony to where you're well rounded? And I think what you talked about was you've seen the different voids and you've seen that there was a gap and you went back to get support. And I think the biggest problem arises when we're in our own way and we don't think that we got need support. We think we'll figure it out until it's almost too late, and then it's not an option no more, right? Um, so I just want us all to think about what can we do to alleviate getting closer to that crisis point. And crisis is considered different for all of us. For some of us, it's at a 10. For some of us, crisis is right at the 5 because you usually being at a 1. You don't have to answer this now, but just kind of think about what do you need to alleviate reaching that crisis point, and for those that hit crisis a lot, what do you need to alleviate to minimize the crisis points if you're in crisis a lot? To take that however you would like. All right, Dr. Michelle, thank you for being here. I see you're out and about. We're doing our roundtable chat, and then we're going to move on to our speakers. The question is your relationship with community, and how do you go about finding it?
Well, I think community is absolutely important. When we think about the ideal that we were never designed to be alone, from the creation of time, from the time that we were put on this earth, we were designed to be in community. And so when we try to do it on our own, we are acting outside of the creation and how we were designed as a people. Babies can't be on their own. They're designed, they have to have that touch of someone else. They have to be, or else they begin to die. Nature cannot really be alone. When you really think about how the best flowers that you have, the best plants that you have are the ones that you cultivate, the ones that you take some time to speak life into. And that's what community is for. Community is designed for us to speak life into each other. And when you talked about what happens when we're at those crisis points. Well, if I'm really in community with people who love me, who know me, who have my best interest in mind, they know when I'm heading to crisis, sometimes even before I do. And they'll be like, oh, no, girl, you off. I know you think your wig is backwards. I know you think it's right, but it ain't. Go on and sit down. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about some rest, because sometimes we just need to sit it down, get a little rest, and then we're ready to recoup and we can move forward. But that's what community is for. It's to snatch us up sometimes. It's to catch us up. It's to let us know your slip is hanging, sis. You don't need to go out like that. Don't go out like that.
Yeah, that's so good. I can't wait for you to speak and go deeper on that. Awesome. Let me get one share from the audience, the listening lounge. Raise your hand and I'll spotlight you if you have something on your heart that you want to add to this question. And then we're going to move on to the festivities of the events. Let me see. I'm looking to see if you got any hand raised. Remember, guys, there's no perfect share. Everything is within purpose. So whatever you have in your heart, we would like to know. All right, Kia, thank you for raising your hand, dear. You are spotlighted and you have the floor.
So I just wanted to say this was on my spirit to share because LaShana, I've been on your email thing. I just had to go back and look because this is my first time actually being present for one of your events, but I've been receiving your email since June of 2022, right?
Okay.
Wow, right? And I always see you in my email. I don't know, early on in my journey, maybe in entrepreneurship, something drew me to you and you've been in my emails, right? And now I'm from Philly, but I recently moved to Georgia.
Okay.
And I just knew in my spirit and my journey at some point that I just needed to connect with you. So I held on to you in my email. Like I was still holding space with you for you because somehow I knew that I needed you in some kind of way. Right. And so this is a testament to the community. And even when I look back at the old email, the first one I had from you was talking about accountability. It was like a mega fest or something you had. And I was like, I don't think I made it to that. But for whatever reason, I knew I needed this accountability and to be in connection with your community. Right. So thank you. I just wanted to let you know that and share that because this is my first time actually being present on one of your things, and I'm so excited to be here. I knew that it would come to gather at some point, but I was in Philly still like, oh, how I'm gonna get to one of her events, stuff like that. So I never got a chance to make it to physically to your events from Philly, but I'm here on the Zoom now, so I just know like whatever the community and connection that is here, that is present, I'm tapped in now, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Oh my God. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the thing, and now I'm about to put on my coaching hat. For anybody that's worked with me as a coaching client, I always tell y'all, be consistent, because even if the people don't respond, when they're ready, they will appear. When they're ready, they will appear. But if you're not consistent when they're looking for you, or when something is going on that you can help them with, you're not going to appear because you're not being consistent. And I think a lot of times, if we have a small following, or if we got a master class and only 2 people came, or 0 people come, or we've been doing business, investing in coaches for years, and we never made a sale, or we only made a little sale, we start to beat ourselves up and think that it's not for us. We need to do something else. And that's not true. You have,
LaShana,
yes.
you cooking, but you sound really low. Like you sound clear, but the volume is really low, and I have my sound turned all the way up.
Okay.
Okay, I thought it was me. That's why I didn't say. Okay.
Oh, okay. Hold up. Let me see.
I thought it was just me too, and then Andrea just said it in the chat. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me.
What about now? What about now?
It's about the same. It sounds like you're far away or something,
Yeah.
like your speaker or
I was
something moved.
asking if y'all can hear me because my volume is not high. So let me
Yeah.
see. Let me see.
While you taking that pause, I will double back on what you're saying about the consistency, because there's many a times I went in my email to clean up stuff and to stop emails from keep coming of things that I'm not utilizing.
Right.
But I did not stop her email because of that consistency
Yeah.
that I
Can y'all hear me
see.
now?
That's
So
way better. That's way better.
Okay.
There we go.
So thank you for that. I'm actually going to redo what I said because I wasn't cooking, y'all. I was frying. So here's the deal. Okay. Okay. We will start to get in our feelings and get upset when we put in all our, so we doing the content, we're doing all the things, we done got the coach, we paying the money, and nothing's working. The people aren't coming, the people are not buying. And what I want us to know is this: you have to analyze what is it that they truly want. Yeah, you might have the cute graphics, you got the virtual assistant, your graphics on fleek, but what is the messaging? What is the hook? Are you being vulnerable? I'll be honest with you, y'all. Usually, like, I just started being vulnerable after 5 or 6 years in business, made 6 figures over and over again, never was being vulnerable. I was just sharing and teaching, being transparent, being authentic, but not sharing my own tea, my own struggles, my own trauma, and how I was working through it. Right. So imagine when we let it all hang out, bucket naked. Okay. Imagine when you don't care about what anybody thinks, but you're going to just put it out there. And of course, it's going to be professional, it's going to be in alignment with your brand. That's when they're going to come running, because y'all, people are not silly, and it's so much noise out there. They're distracted by different things. We had over 50 people sign up for this free event. And when people sign up for free, it's not priority because they haven't paid anything. So not only have I been posting every day, not only have I been asking all of my speakers and partners in here to share, I've been on Threads, I've been on TikTok, I've been on Eventbrite, I've been having my virtual assistant go, like, y'all. And this is not the only thing that I do. Like, I do a lot. So I'm saying this to say this: don't give up. Don't start sharing. Don't stop serving, because there's going to be a day where Kia Rose checks her email and shows up in the building. And this is not about making sales, because I'll be honest with you guys. At the end of the day, business is dating. You have to meet them, court them, give them flowers, show them what they want, all the things. It's a delicate dance. And there's some people who like to give it up early. Okay, just stay with me. Just stay with me. Okay, they gonna give it up on the first night. That's cool too. I'm no judgment, no shade, right? I don't know if that hit, but anyway. So thank you, Kia, for sharing that, because when you say Mega Fest, I did that 3 years ago. But
Yeah.
one thing, what you see is what you get. It's going to be the same 3 years ago, a minute ago, or 5 years ago, right? And so if you guys take anything from this conversation, continue to apply pressure, continue to stay in your lane, continue to refine, go deep. For example, Tanisha didn't start off being a trauma response coach. She started off more generalized, but the more she did her work, the more feedback she got. the more refined. And the riches are in the niches. If I say I serve women, that's cute. But if I serve women who struggle with imposter syndrome, working to overcome a broken heart from mother wounds, y'all tuning in now. Y'all looking at me, right? Because I'm talking right to the heart. So how can we communicate right to the heart versus over someone's head and they're confused on if they need you or not? You ain't got to give me no rebuttal, okay? You ain't got to give me no rebuttal. So thank you so much, Kia. Sonia, I don't want to ignore you, so I'm going to have you go ahead and share. I won't spotlight you, but I see your hand is up. What do you have for us, dear? And then we'll
Just
move.
just real quick to tap into what she said too. I looked back at my emails for you. It was back in 2024. So I was only going through to look for another email today and saw you, and what caught my eye, it said we're on, live, we're on now. So I'm like, what am I missing? And I had to, tap into it. I had no idea that this was it. But I do believe in divine alignment, and that we are started, and I needed to be here because I was looking for a totally different Zoom. So this is where I was supposed to be. I just want to reiterate that back from 2024, I'm here now.
Let's
So thank you.
go. Y'all need to star my email, okay? Because y'all missing out. Okay. Awesome. Before
You need
we
to stop saying it's the same, LaShana. I'm
you say
gonna
what?
just interrupt that because you just say, "Oh, it's been the same." It's consistency, yes, but you have these events. Your events have gotten better and better and more gooder over time.
Oh
You
yeah.
you are more lit than you've ever been, which I love.
Oh no,
I think
I don't
that's
think
a testament to like
yeah,
just
well,
your
thank
growth
you for
and
the
feeling
compliment.
comfortable doing that.
Yeah, no, I don't think I said nothing was the same. I think I said my consistency. Because to your point, Coach Love, the more we invest in ourselves, the more we serve, the more we do the work. It just gets, like you said, even though this ain't a word, betterer. It gets betterer and betterer and betterer.
Yeah,
Most definitely. So I
you can
love it. I
make that
love it. I love it. All right, ladies. Anything else before we close out this round table and go to our next piece? Looking at the y'all good? All right. So we are going to move to the next scheduled events. We have April coming up next. That was really good. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me just do a pause. So here, I'm gonna unspotlight us all so we could be in the gallery. Okay. Y'all, do y'all know it's 7:40 something? Like time is flying when you have fun, okay? So really quickly, since we all on the screen now, what was y'all biggest aha moment? And anybody can come off mute and share about those two questions and then the additional expounding that kind of happened from one question. Like, what was your biggest takeaway that you're like, you know what? You wrote it down, you got it in your notes because you know that's what you need to do or what you need to reflect on. Anything happen for anybody?
I wrote in my notes, definitely the three T's: try, test, and tweak. And I also wrote down what we just discussed about how can we cater to matters of the heart.
Mm.
And I'm gonna add the riches is the niches.
Let's go. Okay. Dre, I see you cheese every time we do the try, test, and tweak because you've been rocking with the brand for a minute and you already know the vibes. I always say, guys, that entrepreneurship is a big hypothesis and don't nobody really know what they're doing. And you can fight me. I don't care if it's Grant Cardone, Oprah, Rihanna, your mama. Nobody knows what they're doing. They
We're all
don't.
figuring it out together. We're figuring
We
it out.
all trying to figure it out. So my question is, when can you give yourself grace and know that you're worthy enough as well to just try to figure it out? That's when the magic happens because your worthiness meter has increased. Let me get one more takeaway and then we're gonna move to April.
Mhm. I had a flashback when you said the try, test, and tweak. I was like, man, that's a classic. I remember the first time I heard you say that. And I think it's just it sums up that's what life is, just period. We're always just trying something out, testing it out, and whatever doesn't work, the things that stick, you that really work for who you are naturally, you tweak it a little bit, put your own little bit of seasoning on it, and then it pops. But I think you would never find what works if we didn't try, right? They always say nothing beats a failure but a try, or people be like, oh, you can't try, you just got to do it. Yeah, that's the testing part. You still got to try. Like, you start with some kind of hypothesis, some kind of idea of what you think it could be. You test it
Mm-hmm.
out, and then you tweak it. And that has worked. That works every time. The only time it won't
Mm-hmm.
work is if you don't try it, right? So I think, yeah, that was some great wisdom you gave us years ago. That's still classic, and that's for everything: life, business, parenthood, all of it.
Mm. Thank you,
It
dear.
kind of brings down the fear piece that can get in your mindset of just doing it. It gives you a step process. It breaks it down into what does that look like.
Yeah, it makes you more courageous to do it scared, do it afraid, and do it ugly. Because believe it or not, I don't know if y'all remember what Facebook looked like when it first came out. The analog, it was for college students. It gave me just the heebie-jeebies just to even look at it. And now it's one of the most sought after entities because the guy did not give up, and now it's expanded, and literally we can't live without it. Okay, some of y'all can't live without it. I'm addicted to Instagram, but anyway, love it, love it, love it, love it. So Miss April Jackson, Hunter, fat and not the F, it's the PH, don't get it twisted. Okay, you are up next. We're excited to have you. When you reached out and said I want to be a speaker, I was excited because it was the first time I was introduced to you and you were introduced to my brand. So we're super excited to have you, love. You have the floor.
Okay. All right. My computer was doing something. Y'all, I had technical difficulties today. So, I think the devil was like, he was trying to stop this word. I need to come out my mouth. So I had to get myself together. I was about to crash out. I was like, please let this work for me. So it came on in like, folk. Okay, today we're going to talk about true healing starts in the mind. Who's ready to be on the journey to confident weight loss, self-love, and self-care? Like, all those things are much needed in our life. If you say you don't want more confidence or weight loss or self-love or self-care, then I don't know what planet you're on, because all those things are high up on my list of to-do things. I want to first take this time out to thank Mr. LaShana and all you guys for just allowing me to speak today. I'm honored and excited to share some thoughts and insights on a topic that is both powerful and transformative to me. The idea of true healing starts in the mind. My goal is to explore how cultivating a healthy mindset can foster confidence, support weight loss, and ignite the fires of self-love and self-care in our lives. This journey, I've been on this weight loss journey thing for a long time, guys. I teeter-tottered when I was having my kids. I teeter-tottered after I was having my kids. And when it was all said and done, I was well on the way to being 400 plus pounds. So nothing really worked for me. I would diet, I would crash diet, I would lose the weight. And then after me going back to my regular, normal scheduled program, I would gain that weight back plus some. My journey went a little different April the 1st of last year. And since then, I have lost 131 pounds. And with this journey, I did gastric bypass because I had H. pylori in my stomach. And if it's not treated, it causes stomach cancer. So with the thought of having stomach cancer and the thought of just not making this work for me, I did not like who I saw in the mirror. I could not stand to look at myself in the mirror, and I hated everything about me. So I decided to go with gastric bypass. I did so, and in doing so, I had to do therapy, and I had to overhaul my whole train of thought, my whole way of thinking about food. I learned that I was an emotional eater, and I learned that a lot of generational curses stopped me from being the best person I need to be, and it hindered my relationship with food. So I want to start off by asking the question: have you ever noticed how the thoughts shape your day? How a single encouraging word from yourself or someone else can ignite a sense of possibility, while a crucial thought can deafen your energy. It's been said that our beliefs, our self-talks, and our outlook don't just color our days, they pave the road to healing and lasting change. Today, I invite you to consider this. True healing, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual, takes root first in the mind. And from that fertile ground, confidence blossoms. Weight loss becomes sustainable. I know y'all. I'm nervous. I'm talking all of my words. And genuine self-love and self-care flourishes. It's like you lay the foundation in your mind. Do you guys know it takes 21 days to change a habit? And I say this because we know, I'm gonna give you some examples of what I'm talking about. I think I shared this the other time we was doing a little live on thing. When I first started, how many of us eat our takeout food out of the containers? And when you do that, you eat more than what your stomach bargains for. What I do, and tricks I teach my clients, I get a separate plate. I take some of the food out of the container and I eat it off the plate. I put the container away. I don't see it. Therefore, the little bit amount of food that's on my plate, I still get full. I don't have the feeling to overeat. And this little hack has nourished and flourished me to not being overeating. Because like I said too, the last time I was on here, is that generational curses conforms our way of thinking. Like how many times we was kids and our parents, our grandparents said we had to eat all our food before we got up. Now as an adult, I found myself scarfing down food, every bit of morsel on my plate, because in my head, I got to eat all this food. It's time to change the narrative about that. And again, another key point, what I do with my clients, I tell my clients to signal yourself when you are done eating. It's okay to not eat everything on your plate. It's not wasted food, because you can always put it in a Tupperware bowl and come back and eat it later. But when you feel like your stomach is full, and you always should eat until you're 80% full, not always full, because time you drink that drink, you're going to be busting at the seams. So when you signal yourself that you are done eating, you place your napkin over your food, you place your fork down, and you push it away. These are some little tidbits that you start in your mind to signal to yourself that, hey, I'm full. And this is like little game changers that I use with my clients just to let them understand that certain things that you don't have to, it's not about what you eat. It's not about, oh, you can't eat these 12. We all know we can't eat 12 tacos. But you wouldn't have to eat 12 tacos. One taco will suffice you. If you put it on your little plate, your mind sees, oh, I want this taco, and it's there. You get your feel of the taco, and your body is pleased. Your body don't see 12 tacos, so you're not interested in eating 12 tacos. But moving on to the mind connection, laying the foundation. Our bodies listen to our minds. We harbor thoughts of fear, self-doubt, inadequacy, and our body responds with stress, tension, and even illness. Yes, our body will shut you down if you do not listen to it. It will shut off. It will put you in the hospital. You will be sick. I have done it before. But when we nurture hope, belief, and positivity, our bodies respond with resilience, strength, and vitality. Research shows that people who visualize positive outcomes, practice mindfulness, and cultivate optimism experience faster healing and improve health. This mind-body connection is not just theoretical, it's lived every day in the choices that we make and stories that we tell ourselves. Do you know how you can rewrite your inner narrative? I have 3 short things that you can do to rewrite your inner narrative. 1 is self-awareness. Notice your inner dialogue. Are your thoughts building you up or tearing you down? Those are some key things. We kind of live in our head a lot. I'm one key person that does self-sabotage. I do. I kind of like tear myself down all the time. I say I don't like how I look in that. I look fat. And these are things I have been doing to myself since I can remember. Number 2 is challenging negativity. When you catch a self-critical thought, pause and ask, is that really how I feel? Would I be saying that to my friend if I was talking to my friend in a situation? Because why are we so helpful to other people and not so much helpful to ourselves? We can go out and help 10 million people a day, and we could tear ourselves down in the background when ain't nobody looking. Like, we are so harsh to ourselves, it's not even funny. But the last one is affirmations. Replace old scripts with affirming messages. Say things like, I am worthy of love. I am capable of healing. I am strong. Over time, these small shifts build a foundation of confidence that support every aspect of healing. So, how many of you guys want the ultimate goal is weight loss? Because I know everybody be like, I can use these, I can lose these 10 pounds, I can fit in this dress, or I can lose these 5 pounds, I can fit in these pants.
Hey, April, stop telling my business, girl. Stop telling my business.
But, weight loss is often seen as a physical journey, but it roots in the psychological. How many times have you tried a new diet only to slip back into old patterns? It's because true change doesn't start by what's on your plate. It starts in your mind. You can change how you eat all day long, but once you get off the diet and you go back to your regular scheduled program, you're going to eat like you was eating before you got on the diet. This is the repetitive cycle of gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight. And it's a never ending story. That's why we are moving tonight to change how we think about our bodies and how we feel about our mindset, to change our relationship with food. Because it's possible. A healthy mindset around weight loss means, 1, compassion over criticism. Instead of punishing yourself for slip-ups, treat yourself with kindness. Same kindness you would give a friend. 2, identify shifts. See yourself not as someone trying to lose weight, but as someone living a healthy, vibrant life. 3, visualization. Regularly picture yourself enjoying healthy habits, feeling energized, confident, and proud. And last but not least, letting go of perfection, because this is not for the faint at heart. Progress is not perfect, guys. It's a goal. Every small step counts. It's like somebody said earlier, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. So everything you can do to change your mindset about how your relationship with food or how you see yourself outside of dieting, because who wants to diet for the rest of their life? Everybody's not going to diet for the rest of their life. That's infeasible. So it's about changing your lifestyle. It's not about finding the perfect diet. And when you align your mind with your goals, we unlock the consistency and the motivation needed for lasting transformation. We're moving on to cultivating self-love, the heart of healing. Self-love is not vanity or selfish, because many people think self-love is selfish. It is not. It is the recognition that we are worthy of care, respect, and kindness, simply because we exist. I deserve love. I am worthy of love. I need love. And sometimes I need to give love to myself, because other people don't see exactly what you need. But you know what you need. You know you need to rest. You know you need to have a moment or a girl's day to just bring it back center to what you used to doing for yourself. Sometimes we let our self-care and our self-love go. But it's the cornerstone of all healing. To cultivate self-love, one must practice mindfulness. Be patient with yourself. Notice when judgment arises and gently return to kindness. So negate judgment, foster kindness. Celebrate your wins. It's 2. Acknowledge your efforts, however small. There's no such thing as a small step. Every step forward is a victory. And I don't care if we said I didn't eat that brownie today. Hey, kudos, because I might have ate the brownie. I'm just saying. Because who don't like a brownie? I'm just saying. And last but not least, forgive yourself. Healing is not lunar. Allow yourself grace to make mistakes and to grow. Yes, forgiving is not, if listen, I'm gonna get into forgiving. I had to forgive myself for all the trauma that I experienced, y'all. Like I said, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, I'm a survivor of a sexual assault, and I blamed myself for these things. If I hadn't went to a party, I wouldn't have got raped. Or if I hadn't been drinking, I wouldn't have got raped. Or if I hadn't not just, if I had did this, he would have been better. I had to forgive myself for a lot of things that I really that's not that's another story, another topic. Okay, we're gonna move on. Self-care turning love into action. Self-care is the practice of putting your self-love into motion. It is not just about bubble baths and spa days, though those are wonderful ideas. Who does not like a bubble bath? I use one right now. It is also about making choices that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Effective self-care involves listening to your body. Rest when you feel tired. Move when you have energy. Feed yourself nourishing foods. Setting boundaries. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what lifts you and fills you up. Seeking support. Healing is not a solo journey. We just talked about community and connections. Reach out to friends, family, and or professionals when you need help, because we all need somebody in our corner to hold us accountable for the days that we have bad days. By making self-care a priority, we reinforce the belief that we are worthy of time, attention, and care. And we also have some practical steps to bringing it all together. Let's bring all of what I said tonight with a few practical steps you can begin today. The first one is daily affirmations. Who do daily affirmations? Raise your hand, you do daily affirmations. Listen, that be saving my life. Because sometimes I just don't want to be in a peoply mood. But those daily affirmations get me on the right thing. It starts your day by speaking kindness and possibilities into your life. Mindful eating is number 2. I teach this with my clients. Mindful eating. I help them honor their hunger and fullness scale. Pay attention to how food makes you feel. Eat with intention and gratitude. Number 3 is movement. Find a form of exercise that brings you joy, not obligation, because I do not like to exercise. I'm not going to lie. I don't. But I do like Zumba. So I can get in here with my Zumba CDs and get my movement on, and I like doing it. So I think that works out for me. And I like to walk too. But and the next one is journaling. Write about your feelings, your challenges, and your success to track your journey and progress, your process emotion. I like journaling. Journaling start me out. I just like putting my words down out of my head, because my thoughts tend to turn into nightmares, and it won't allow me to sleep. I'll be up for days in here, scared to go to sleep. It's having something. But journaling helped me out a lot, and I love to journal, and I love to write down my thoughts, and I love to read them back to myself too. And the last one is meditation. Spend a few moments each day in stillness. Connect with your breath and your inner strength. I tell my clients that I want them to have an hour, but some people are single parents, and I know an hour is hard to still, but I at least give myself 30 minutes of uninterrupted me time. I have to digress for my day. I have to process everything that I have went in a day. I have to get it out my mind, and I just lay on my bed, and I just breathe and just be one with my thoughts and just let it go. I say it, I put it in the universe, and I just let it go. I had a bad day, I'm just going to let it go. And this helps me to rekindle positivity, and I can have a better outcome in my family. I don't want to bring my bad day home to my house. Okay, I'm through anyway. In conclusion, the invitation to heal. As we close, I invite you to reflect on this truth. The journey to confidence, weight loss, and self-love and self-care is not about fixing what is broken, because you are not broken. Nobody is broken. We have different trains of thoughts. We are born from different areas, so we're not on the same mental wavelength. So everybody's healing is different from yours. It's about remembering day by day that you are whole, worthy, and capable of profound transformation. Healing starts in the mind with a single thought, a single act of kindness, a single step. If you are ready to experience true transformation, start by scheduling your complimentary discussion session with me today. I thank you again, you guys. If you'd like to schedule your free discovery session with me, you guys can email me at amjacksonhunterllc@gmail.com. You guys I can give you my free ebook. It's called Hey Fat Girl, 7 Reasons Why Diets Aren't for You. And it's complimentary as well. Oh, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, it's just my email. You guys can just
Okay.
email me and I can send over whatever link that you need to, whatever avenue you need to get to. So I keep it that simple. So either way, anything you want, you just email me. I can put you directly where you need to go. And again, I
Okay.
thank everybody for just allowing me to ramble on about weight loss and mindful eating. And I hope to hear from you guys. If you're ready to be fat, fine, and confident,
I
email
love
me
it.
today.
Girl, you weren't rambling on. You was preaching. Let's give it up
Honey,
for
okay.
April.
Paper collection plate. This way. This way.
Okay, give it up for April. I think it is a polarizing and taboo topic, and you have been courageous enough to put yourself out there, share your journey. That alone speaks volumes. So you was not rambling on. You was owning your journey so others can own theirs too. So thank you for doing that, April. I'm going to say this to you in front of everybody. You need to go find your link and put it in the comments, because we're not emailing you, and this is business. Okay. If you wait on people to email, you're finna lose clients. Okay. And I know I'm live on Zoom. I don't care. Go find the link, love. Go find it. I don't care if you got to make one right now. Go find it. Okay. All right. So what's popping? Y'all, I had a jam-packed agenda and we had to skip a little bit because some of our sessions went over, which is totally fine. We will have time for hot seat coaching at the end with me, but what I want to do to respect everyone's time is pass the mic to Dr. J. Michelle Van. She is up. She already alluded to what she's going to be talking about, but now we get to hear directly from her. You have the floor.
Hello, ladies. I'm so excited to be able to share with you a little bit tonight. I am doing Car Chronicles because I double booked myself. Amen. Praise the Lord. So that is what it is. But before we get going, I want you to just take a moment and just take a big old breath. Now, here, the reason why I ask you to do that is because many times we don't realize that we go through the day and we are holding our breath. Often we are moving and we are shaking and we are doing all the things that we need to do, and we are holding our breath. And so April talked about a little bit about your body will shut you down. And I had an experience where I thought I was having a heart attack. My sperm donor had a heart attack and had several heart attacks and ultimately died from a heart attack. And so for a long time, the enemy would began to tell me that I was going to have a heart attack and I was going to die. And there was one night when I really thought I was. And when I really began to sit down and really began to get with myself, I needed to really go somewhere and sit down. Your grandma ever tell you that? Go somewhere and sit down. Okay? We're going to talk about the healing seat. It's more than a metaphor. It's a moment. It's a movement. It's a mindset. The healing seat is a space where you pause on purpose. If we were in church, I would tell you to look at your neighbor and tell them, pause on purpose. But you can put it in the chat. You protect your peace like a sacred ritual, and you allow God to do what only He can do, which is to restore your soul. See, many times we want to be the end all be all. We want to be the answer to everybody's question. We want to be the person that can bring the resources. We want to be that person that we believe that if we set ourselves on fire, we can keep other people warm. But sis, what I will tell you is that you will set yourself on fire and people will watch you burn up and then they'll go to the next person. We were raised to believe that if we weren't busy, we weren't valuable. But sis, your worth is not in what you're doing. It's that you are worth it because of who you are. Just being who you are. You don't have to do nothing. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Jesus didn't say, come and I'll give you a business plan. He said, come and I will give you rest. Let's be real. Rest sounds real cute until it feels confrontational. Especially for women like us who hold it down at work and we hold it down at home. We hold it down in our organizations, in our church, in our community. Rest becomes resistance. If you see my shirt, it says rest is resistance. Why? Because we're resisting hustle culture. We're resisting that impulse to be busy all the time. We're resisting that impulse that says, I've got to do it all. I'll show you my age because I'll tell you that I remember there was a commercial and it says, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never let you forget that you're a man because I'm a woman, right? And we heard that growing up, those of us that are of a certain age. We heard it. And there was this example that we needed to be all things to all people. But I want to tell you that you don't have to be. You can say no and not feel guilty. I was at a therapist and he was asking me, what did I do? And, what are all the things that I did? And he said, well, sis, if you can break those down into about 3 things, he said, I need you to figure out what your core values are. And when you, anything that steps outside of those things, I need you to say no and walk away without feeling guilty. I said, what? He said, walk away and don't feel guilty, sis. So know what you are supposed to say yes to and know what you need to say no to. You delegate without explaining. Baby, I need you to do this. Why? Because I said so. You step away and let people manage their own emergencies. Woo! See, give the work back to them. People want to, I came to this conclusion. I was working with a coach and we were talking about some stuff. And she said, now let me ask you this. She said, is that really yours? Or did somebody put it on your plate and make you believe it belonged to you? I said, sis, you didn't say a whole word. Okay? Because people will put stuff on your plate and make you believe it belongs to you. But step away and let people manage their own emergencies. Protect your peace because it's holy work. You're not lazy. You're human. You're luminous and you're tired, and it's not your permanent address. You don't live at tired. I was where I'm at an event. And people were coming in, and one after one said, oh, girl, I was just so tired. I'm just so tired. We don't have to wear tired like it's a badge. It's not a beautiful brooch. Go somewhere and take a nap. When we rest, we rebel against every lie that told us that we had to be strong all the time. We rebel against the thing that said we had to carry everybody. We rebel against the ideal that we had to earn rest with exhaustion. The healing seat is a prophetic act. It says, I trust God more than my to-do list. When you sit, you give the Holy Spirit space to minister to your heart. When you model to your family that real peace looks like, then they know. Because how many of us began to look at our grandmothers and our aunties and those women in our lives, and they were burning both ends of the candle and the middle. And we believe that that's what it was like to be a wife. We believe that's what it was like to be a mother. But I'm telling you that when you begin to teach your daughters, when you begin to teach your sons what it really looks like to rest, we can change the trajectory of the next generation. You tell your nervous system, baby, we say, go on and sit down. Say this, I don't have to hustle for healing. I just have to sit and let it come. Woo! Come on. You don't have to hustle for it. Sit down, rest, and let it come to you. Now, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you don't have to do some work, because yes, you do. But this hustle mentality doesn't have to be there. Now, here's the things that I want you to think about on a daily basis to protect your peace. Block rest like you block a meeting. Whoop, whoop. I will block off a nap in a hot second. Put it on your calendar. Put your rest time on your calendar. Create a ritual. I think that April was talking about how she takes the food out of the container and puts it on a plate, because then it changes the mindset of what I have to eat in front of me. Well, I want you to think about, what is your ritual for peace? Do you light a candle? Do you get it? Do you have a certain place that you go and sit, so that when you get in there, your body already knows what we about to do is rest? You think about it, when you have small children, you give them that nice warm bath. You get a ritual. You give them that nice bath. You're going to read them a story, and you're going to put them to bed. Why? Because they know when this happens, then this is going to happen, and then we go into bed. You need to do the same thing with yourself. Unplug regularly. Turn the doggone phone off. Guess what? We all survived when we had phones that were plugged into the wall. And when we left our house, nobody knew where we were. Guess what? None of us died. Turn the phone off sometimes. No one needs to have 24/7 access to you. My phone goes off. It has a time. And it happened when I was running for office. I was running for Senate, and my daughter had said it. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like this. Let me keep it. Hit do not disturb. It's okay. Sabbath with a style. Rest is not optional. It's biblical. How do we know that? Because for 6 days, Jesus created everything. God created the earth. And on the seventh day, he did what? That's right. He rested. Peace is your promise, but it needs protection. Now, before we close, I want you to lean into this one last moment. Inhale calm and exhale chaos. Inhale healing and exhale hurry. You don't need permission to pause. You are worthy of rest. You're worthy of peace. You are worthy of healing. You've been everything for everybody, but now it's time to be present for you. Take the seat, let it hold you, and stay a while. I'm Dr. Michelle Van, your evangelist of wellness, and this right here is your reminder that, baby, you can't pour from an empty cup. Protect your peace like it's holy, because it is. God bless.
Yes, baby. She was coming for our necks. Okay, I'm clutching some pearls that I do not have on, child. Whoo! Listen, I loved all of that. I always say rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. And I have literally romanticized in my bed, watching TV, in my bed with my background on, working with my coaching clients. Yes, ma'am, you got it. And I think some of it is me realizing that I'm 5 years clean from corporate, and I would be remiss if I created another cage for myself. So if I want to work in my pajamas, if I want to work from my bed, if I want to have a slow morning, I don't have to hustle and bustle. And regardless if you're in corporate or not, or you're side hustling, whatever it is, you still can create, like you said, that nonverbal prompt of lighting a candle, doing your sage, putting your house. Where are my slippers at? My fuzzy slippers. Y'all, this is rest. Okay. Me having these on while I'm sitting here with a blazer on. Why? Because I can, right? I'm being facetious, but I'm really not. It's the little things that we don't have to pay for that you can still take the load off. Like, are you drinking your water? I love me a Starbucks cup. So I'm gonna get a cute cup. I'm gonna keep my water by me. So before we move on, what do you do to enhance your rest? I want everybody to share. Let's pop it in the comments. What do you do to increase your rest or to give yourself grace, increase your self-care, whatever your verbiage is? Because sometimes you have a different verbiage and it is rest, but you haven't been calling it that, which is totally okay. But sharing is caring, and what you do will help someone else who needs to do it too. So Coach Jen B said, I have do not disturb activated daily. I love that. I turned mine off. I need to turn that back on because man, my mama be calling me early in the morning for no reason. I'm like, she's interrupting my rest. However, we allow and disallow. So by doing that D&D, that's disallowing. What else, guys? What do you do to increase your rest or to set boundaries? It's on my schedule, time block, and D&D saves lives. Yes, most definitely. My 30 minutes of only me time. I love that. Allegra said, I place time limits on my apps. Oh, that's so good. I'll be ignoring. They said you you've been on Instagram for such and such time and like poop ignore. Love it. I don't have a problem putting my ringer on silent either. Period, Pooh. I love that. All right. I don't know about y'all, but do y'all know we only got like 35 more minutes, and that means we've been on here for 3 hours of healing and thought-provoking conversation and self-reflection. Y'all, all it takes is you saying yes to yourself. You literally could have said, no, I'm good. I'm not going to be tuned in and nothing tonight. I got to do X, Y, Z. But instead you say, you know what? I don't know what this is. I don't know who this girl is, but click, click, click. Oh, okay. That's what's up. I love it. I'm so excited you guys are here. Oh, taking long baths. So let me tell you my hack with hygiene. All I take is baths. It's a mandatory self-care rest thing. And I got a shower too. That thing probably got cobwebs. I ain't been in it in a year or two, right? So like my bath, the bubbles, it's a deep tub. I even bought one of those long bath boards, a caddy thing. I don't even know what it's called, but that alone is like an automatic thing for me to unplug and decompress. All right. Yeah, and that's why I like sharing is caring, because what other people do, we can all take some love from it. All right, Coach Love is up next, love. I said Coach Love is up next, love. I'm going to spotlight you. You are our next speaker. You
No,
have
I'm
the
not. I'm
floor.
here as a student. I'm not teaching today. I was still taking notes. I don't. It's not my turn.
Okay, great. It's your turn, boo.
Um, I think this is a great segue to what I chose for today. We've heard it a lot today. The importance of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. But today we're going to talk about it just a little bit differently than what we probably typically hear, right? When people say emotional intelligence, like, typically you hear, are you aware of your emotions? Are you aware that do you realize you can feel your emotions? All of those things. But I think the other part of emotional intelligence that we don't talk about is having the wherewithal to be honest in your level of how you're showing up. So there's levels to self-awareness, right? There's those things that are superficial, that we kind of scale over. Then there's things that are much deeper. And you heard someone say earlier that sometimes those deeper, harder things we don't want to talk about. We don't want to have a conversation about, and we don't want anybody talking to us about it. We don't even want us asking us about it. But I think the big thing that's missing sometimes that can hinder our growth, especially when we're talking about healing while building, is not being willing to be honest about where there's like some pieces that we still need to do the work, right? I shared a little bit before when we had the hot seat that, we like to think that because, we've paid for the sessions with therapists, we've paid for the sessions with coaches, we've implemented a few of the ideas, we're doing some of the work, right? So we think because we're doing that means we're being just as well. And sometimes that's not all the way true. And this is not to, have us start judging ourselves or to do like the verbal beat down. This is us taking stock and us holding ourselves accountable for the work that we say that we're doing. So what that could look like is if you're saying, well, I'm working on being better. But exactly what are you working on being better at? Are you working on better being at your uh, language? You've all heard me talk about the importance of language. I love that Queen April mentioned, how we're talking to ourselves. If you've ever heard me speak, you've heard me always say that it's important the language we choose. So when you're going to therapy, they make suggestions about how you need to be, right? Or the things that you need to do. But sometimes we don't tie that language in and when we're speaking to ourselves, right? Because the things that we say to ourselves eventually are going to become the things that we say to others, right? And I'm saying that because this is where the self-awareness part comes in. Because we're thinking that we're showing up in a way in the lives of the people that we're around all the time, right? But how many times have you taken stock and just asked the person, like, ask the people that are around you, how are they receiving you? Like, you might think, like I shared before, I think that I'm showing up as love. But maybe the person that's on the receiving end of me, of my being, doesn't see it that way. And what I'm saying in that is that that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know how we like to say, I don't want anybody telling me about myself. Sometimes wholesome, constructive criticism is needed. Like you need somebody to tell you the truth about yourself. So even though you're doing the work, you're crossing the dots and doing all those things, you're checking off these things, you've had conversations, you've forgiven, you've made some choices, you've given yourself some grace, still consider that there's a piece of your being that's missing. Because it's great that you're doing the work, but it needs to also come through in your aura, right? When you come into the room, do people kind of feel like you are better? Do people feel like you're healthier? Does it feel like you're happier? Does it feel like you're lighter, right? Does it really feel that way? Because if it doesn't, and if someone has given you some healthy, wholesome criticism and said that, sometimes it's not, then that means we have to do some deeper work. That means you have to really look into yourself and say, okay, I've taken these steps, but somehow this still isn't transitioning into something that I can take stock of and say, I'm proud that I'm being this way, or I'm proud of myself for showing up this way, right? Because we like to think, we made progress, then that's it. I did good, so I don't got to keep doing good. Our progress, our evolution is forever. We have to always consider that there's more work to do. They always say the biggest room is the one for improvement. So look at it that way. Absolutely pat yourself on the back for all that you've done. Absolutely. Because let me tell you, getting to 45, not a cakewalk, right? But Langston Hughes' life for me has not been a crystal stair, right? But I can say it's worth it. And I can also say that one of the powerful things about community and connection that LaShana talked about, that's the other purpose of community. Because there's someone in your community or someone that you have a really great connection with that's going to see and listen to you in a way that you can't do for yourself. And we need that. We all need someone that doesn't just mirror us exactly as we are because, nobody needs like a twin, right? I don't need somebody else to tell me that I'm loved. I don't want to hear that, because I know that there's times when I'm not, and I want someone to honestly tell me that. So I think that's the other really good part about having a community, because there's something that you're missing. You can't do it all by yourself. You have to do it for yourself, but you can't do it by yourself. So I think that's important. So when we get into talking about emotional intelligence, are you emotionally mature enough to be honest with yourself about the fact that your level of self-awareness is not where you think it is? How about that? Right? There's to be some growth every day. It's possible for you to discover, you know how they say you can learn something new every day? Learn something new about yourself. Allow yourself to be honest enough to say, you know what? Yesterday I didn't realize that, you know, I'm not as nice as I want to be all the time, right? Or yesterday I didn't realize that I haven't fully developed my capacity. And that's the next part of what we're going to talk about self-awareness. Develop your capacity. I know you're like, what? Develop your capacity. You have to do that because at some point in time, all the things that we want for ourselves, you're going to eventually want that for others, right? And this is why I say the things that we do well with others are the things that we've mastered and done well with ourselves first. This is why self-mastery is your only priority in this world. God or whatever higher power entity that you believe in has gifted you with all that you need to prioritize yourself. Self-preservation is the first law of nature for a reason. It is of the utmost importance that you take the absolute best care of yourself, because that's how you set the precedent for all the people that are around you, right? We like to say we want people to hold space for us, but are you holding space for yourself, right? The things that you really want and that you need and that you would like start with how you show up for yourself. They start with how aware you are within yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then I should not have the expectation or any idea that you're going to be honest with me, right? That's the level of self-awareness we need to get to. That there are times when we're not being as honest. And I don't want to say that is, imposter syndrome, because it's not. Human nature is that we want to think the absolute best all the time, right? I know that's my nature. I love to be the light and the positive energy and the optimism in the room. And at the same time, I'm also going to be very honest, but not brutally honest, right? Just honest enough to the point that you can gain some understanding and gain some clarity about yourself, because you need that. The emotional part of that is it's not going to feel good. Mentally, you're going to probably have some thoughts about yourself that maybe aren't good, but it's honest, it's necessary. And I'd say the best way you can assess how that can look going forward is ask yourself what you need, ask yourself what you want, and then ask yourself what you would like. Needs always prioritize over wants, right? Thanks, LaShana. And then the things that we want, you kind of want those things. And then there's those things that you would like, right? Consider that those are the, I want to say, pillars that you need for yourself. And then also consider that those are the same pillars that everyone else needs. Because even though we're mastering ourselves, as we've talked about all day today, we're not here by ourselves. No one wants to be doing this thing called life just all by themselves. So the reason we're going to be more self-aware, the reason that we need to be emotionally intelligent in that awareness is because we absolutely at some point are going to make connections. We're going to be a part of a community. And I think that's the best way we can serve ourselves and each other. Be mindful of how you're doing the work. I like to say, you've heard me say, I don't have it here in front of me, but the title of the book, the first book that I wrote, we talked about being authors, is called Heart Work, The 12 Benefits of Practicing Forgiveness, Gratitude, and Positive Affirmations. Heart work is really us healing each aspect that's related to our worth, our origin, our reflection, and kinship, right? If you want to write that down, heart work is healing each aspect related to worth, origin, reflection, and kinship. How we see ourselves is typically how other people are going to see us based on how we're being. People can do all sorts of things, but the doing isn't more important than the being. It doesn't matter what you do if your being's not healthy. So prioritize today and every moment after today, figuring out what you need, figuring out what you want and what you would like. If you can figure at least one of those things out in each of those categories, it'll be easier for you to articulate that to those people around you, right? Develop your capacity to just be. Like, it's great to do things. It's really freaking great. It feels phenomenal to get, awards and to get accolades, to get followers, to get paid, because we're doing the thing that we do in the world. But as we all know, we see people every day do great things, but their being is so unsettled. It's so unhealthy. It's so unhappy, right? I want us to be able to do great things, but I also want us to feel and be great in that process. Is it going to look pretty all the time? Absolutely not. But it's worth the work. It's worth the effort. And I'd say that the next time you feel like you haven't quite got it, it's totally okay for you to seek out professional guidance and support. I'm saying that because still collectively as a community, our diaspora still won't have the conversation out loud that it's okay to seek out professional guidance. It's okay to tell someone else your business if they can give you some kind of assistance and some kind of resource to improve the quality of your life. And typically you need to invest in that. I don't like to say that there's a cost in the things that I do. I believe that everything that I do is an investment into me being a better person. If you look at it as an investment, you take a different mindset about it, right? You give it a different level of priority and you give it a different precedence in your life. Your overall well-being should matter enough to you that you be willing to invest the time, energy, and money and resources to be better, right? And again, don't discount virtual opportunities for that, right? You can be anywhere in the world and find some kind of resource. If you ask, someone will be there to help you. The other little key piece I'll add that LaShana talked about earlier, it doesn't matter when you start your therapy. It doesn't matter when you start your coaching. Just find the courage to start. For me, it happened to be when I was 9 years old. I was in middle school. That person was my dad. But it was done because, as a father, there was just some things he realized, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why you're like this. I don't know what's happening. I can't help you, but I'm going to figure out how we can find someone who can. So that's how I was introduced to therapy. And then over time, as I got older, you get health insurance, you get a job, you start paying for it and investing in those things for yourself. So all my life, since 9 up until now, I've been in therapy and in coaching and in some form of some kind of support and help when I need it. And also, though, in having that, there are still times where I struggle with seeking out support and help. It just feels different at every phase of your life to realize I still need some help with this. I still need some support with this. The difference now is I wholeheartedly dive into it. And that's what I want you guys to do. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to want the absolute best for yourself. Do that. Be honest in that. If any of you got that book, I know y'all know that's the part we highlight. The reflection is honest. That's where it starts. If you can't be honest in the reflection of yourself, you're going to constantly and continually struggle in developing into a healthier person. Right. I want you guys to know that it's possible to live a life that is healthier, that doesn't just have to foundationally be based on pain and suffering and trauma. Like TJ said, we're all responding to what we've been through. And yet, as LaShana said, in the space of mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness, everything is so reactionary. We need to be more proactive. The way you be proactive is you do like you did today. You show up here. You show up in the places where you believe that there could possibly be something for you to gain to support you in your wellness, right? Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you, LaShana. I appreciate everyone that came today. And if nothing else, just know that you can be love and that every effort you make will be worth it.
Wow, let's give it up for Coach Love. I know you're gonna be dropping something in the comments. I know you got a book, even though you serve men and boys. There might be some individuals who want to connect with you in other ways. So whatever you have, whether it's a lead magnet, a free resource, or even a link to your book, please drop that. That whole segment you did was so spot on. And I've seen so much growth in you. I'm so proud of you. You've been doing some Toastmasters or something, girl, because girl, look, you in your speaking bag. I'm like, oh, come on, girl. She calm, she just poised. I don't know what you've been doing, but keep doing it. Keep doing it, okay? I love it. Wow, 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 wow. So look, y'all, I promised to do hot seat mindset coaching. It wouldn't be a healing seat without hot seat. Before I give you guys some time, we got time for 2 or 3 people to come on spot and ask me a mindset or business strategy question, either or. And I didn't even introduce myself in the beginning, guys. I'm a business therapist and mindset coach. So when you work with me, you get the best of both worlds of business coaching and mental health support. So what I do, I'm a therapist by trade, but I made my own lane for business therapy. And what I do is use a strategic therapeutic approach in my business coaching. So, a lot of my clients, they may have struggle with imposter syndrome or a lot of overthinking, overanalyzing, maybe lacking confidence. The biggest theme, though, with most of my clients is there's some unresolved childhood trauma that they've experienced in the past, and that's bleeding over into adulthood, into parenting, into business. And I help them pinpoint what the root cause is. We unpack it, we work through it, and they're able to heal while they build. A lot of my clients still have mental health therapists. And if I feel like one will be good to support them as well, then we'll look for one that's good. We do that together. And so I just love everything that I'm doing. I'm grateful that God has chosen me and trust me with his children, because I'll be honest with you, it's a delicate dance. Business alone is a delicate, but when you're working with people and their emotions and their emotional intelligence and helping them with that and business, it can get a little tricky. And I'm just so grateful to say that I have said yes to my gifts. I had said yes to my calling, and it's been a cool roller coaster ride. So if anybody wants to do the hot seat coaching, you can raise your hand. But I want to call on Allegra first, because when we first got on, we had a question and I told her I would check back in with her during the end, and she probably thought I forgot, but I didn't. Even though I'm self-diagnosed ADHD, my memory's pretty good. Okay. So Allegra, would you like to expound on what we talked about earlier, or do you just want to do a safe pass? Either is okay with me.
I can definitely comment on it.
All right. For those that weren't here, Allegra, let them know what the question was. I'm just gonna let you kind of verbalize it on your own.
So you kind of asked 2 questions,
Yep.
I think it was. And let's see. The first question was, what do I need in this season?
Mhm.
And that was the first one. And then what am I working on? And who do I need? And I had to like sit back and think about it. So those were the 2 questions. I said that I need to renew my mind. So that was like what I'm working on. And then I also said that I need people to understand that. So those are who the people I need, people who've been through it, what I've been through, as far as, going through, like I think has been said on here, people pleasing, imposter syndrome, just, getting through going from, employee to CEO, you're dealing with so many dynamics, right? And you're getting to know who you are. So, I've realized that in my life, I have had like a lot of situations where I have played really small when I should have like stepped up, right? And when you ask me like, what do I need to be doing, like, and really like sit back and think on it, I was like, oh man, like I really need to be showing up differently because I haven't. And I really, like, my mindset has changed, right? Like, I've gotten therapy. I went through a lot of ups and downs in my relationships and I got rid of people. So I
Mm-hmm.
was really changing in my mind. But, but when you said that, I was like, dang, but how have I changed, like, in my environments? Like, how have I really stood up for myself to show people and tell people that? And so I think I have to, number one, assess it a little bit more. So I'm going to like brain dump, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
I need to consult with my accountability partners, right? And then I need to regain, like, re strategize and game plan. Like, what is my next step and how do I need to show up? And that's where I'm at. I don't know what that looks like yet, but yeah, I was definitely challenged. So thank you for that.
I'm I'm so excited for you because what I hear is creativity, innovation, and stretch. So I kind of hear your voice shaking a little bit because I think you're excited and there's some nerves around it, but this is a positive thing. A negative thing would be not doing anything and not even wanting to entertain the question. But I know that you are competitive and I know that you are a high performer. So you're going to do it. And I think what I'm getting and from what I know from you is you got to give yourself grace and give yourself credit for the journey. Like, does that resonate at all?
Yeah, I mean, because with being a high performer, I can like really skip past my wins. And I know
Mm-hmm.
I built a whole community about winning, y'all. So it's not like I don't know
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, just
Oh.
taking time to like sit back and really yeah, I think that's definitely something I need to do.
Mm-hmm. FYI, I built a whole community on accountability on demand and healing while building, and I know about it, and there were still some holes, right? And I think that's that mirror where we know what the people need, we know what we need, but we're so used to always doing, serving, sharing, giving that we forget to give to the giver. And nobody's going to give to us. Nobody's going to come and save us. I don't care who it is. Your kids, your significant other, your parents. No one's coming to save us. Y'all want to know why? Put why in the comments. I need to make sure y'all tracking. Y'all probably in bed with your hot cocoa. I get it. This is why. They're still trying to save their self. How can they take care of you when they're trying to figure out how to take care of themselves? And we get upset because we want more, we want people to do more, but that is an unrealistic expectation. It may come later, but if it doesn't come when you want it to, all that means is you got to continue to model by doing it for yourself and be patient as they catch up. Because more than likely, we are way past them, whoever they are, and that's okay. That's why we are the bomb.com. We are the chosen ones. We are the ones that are activating our throat chakra and being thought leaders and sharing what we know and creating safe space and going to safe spaces because we are the chosen ones. Period. So I'm super excited for you, Allegra. And I'm just a phone call away. We're connected in many ways.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Allegra's, you're welcome. She's actually one of our pop up and create partners. For those that don't know, I own a content space in Marietta called Pop Up and Create. I've actually been dropping several links in the chat here on Zoom because, guys, we have all kinds of interactive in-person events at the space. So we would love for you guys to stay tapped in. Yes, Samantha, Zoom does raise your hand. So thank you, Allegra. We appreciate you. Now we have time for our hot seat coaching. Thank you, Tanisha. Samantha, if you click on react, you'll be able to raise your hand. And honestly, guys, I'm not even gonna cap on y'all. I charge thousands of dollars for what I'm opening up the space for right now, and there's like no hands raised. I'm just a little confused. I'm not complaining. It's cool, but I'm just curious as to why. I mean, I see one now that's cool. And look, y'all know I'm a borderline comedian. I be trying to be funny, but I'm not gonna cap, like I'm serious. One question that you ask, one piece of information can literally not only shift your mindset, but shift how you're operating in business, which will then shift the impact and the income. All right, Samantha, are you raising your hand for the hot seat coaching?
Yes, I am.
All right, perfect. Let me go ahead and have your camera on because I'm gonna spotlight you.
Hi, Mama. I apologize. I am trying to get my daughter to go to bed right now. So you're going to hear a little person talking. And I'm going to try not to be on the mic for too long. But hi, Mama. First of all, hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for creating this space. I am going to be on your panel next month. And what is this? Host asked you to start your video. I don't know what I'm doing here. I feel like I haven't been on Zoom in forever. Thank you, Malia. Okay,
You're fine.
so my question is, I've been looking to get into the space of, speaking engagements as well as hosting my own events. And so I was wondering, I've met a different, group of women that we're all in the health and wellness space, and I wanted to do events and panels and webinars with regards to the health and wellness space. Yeah. And I want to be able to give back to them. So I don't know how I can go about creating some events that, yes, we want that to be free but like I want it to be free, but at the same time, we give free all the time. We're pretty good at giving free. And I don't want them to feel like they are not valued in that space because I literally feel like I've scouted out these women. I've scouted out these women. And so I want to be able to co-create with them, but also make it lucrative for them. So how can I go about doing that while
you just clicked on mute. I just want to make sure you're aware.
Yes. I was done. I was done with my question. I was just listening.
Okay. Well, I have some follow-ups before I can give you some sound advice. So tell me what it is that you do.
Okay, I'm a health and wellness coach. Profession, I'm a nurse practitioner, but I opened up a health and wellness coaching service. So I provide virtual visits for health and wellness. But I take more of a holistic approach. So I use functional nutrition, but I also, tap into my faith as a Christian. So I also provide lots of, like, I take into consideration their, how can I say, their spiritual well-being. So that is
Okay. And I heard you say you want to start curating community and safe space, and you're debating on if you should make it free or not. You give them enough free stuff, but you want them to feel valued. So that's the crossroad. So the question is, how do you do it and charge for it? What does that look like? Or is this a money mindset block that you have, assuming that they're not going to want to come if you charge? I just want to get clarity on what you need help with.
okay. Sorry. So to clarify, let's say I have about 10 women that I want to be able to co-create with at different periods of times, and then for a bigger event in the future. And it's not so much a money mindset. Um, I when I say that we provide free insight all the time, I mean collectively myself and those women on social media. Like we're always providing free information.
Yeah.
So I want to create an event or events where it's going to be a mixture of free, but I also want those women to be able to monetize off of the events that we do. So in terms of the free, it's not so much them as in our audience, our targeted audience. So I want to make sure that yes, someone is going to show up because they're investing in themselves and they're paying for that ticket, but also being able to help those women monetize off of the events that we create.
Yeah.
I
So
hope that I cleared that up a little.
No, you did. So have all of you guys all came together to brainstorm, put your heads together. That is a collective and a collaborative event that enables you all to be in alignment and all be able to monetize. Because that's literally what you guys need is like a brainstorming session. Because you can come up with all the things, but if they're not included and it's not cohesive, then it's still going to be disjointed. So where are you at with like the planning process with all these ladies?
So literally, this has been week one
Mm-hmm.
of me attending Zoom meetings with them. And I've just been doing them all individually because they don't know each other. So I wanted to, instead of just throwing everybody on one Zoom and be like, hey guys, this is my idea, I wanted to be
Yeah.
able to, Malia, I wanted to be able to build that type of connection with each individual first, and then get into that group setting where we do like a Zoom call. So
Yeah.
yes, it really is early in the planning stages. Malia, I'm sorry. It's really early in the planning stages. So I plan on doing the Zoom calls with this week and then next week. Um, so that I can move forward.
So that you can move forward. Got you. Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track. I think one potential missing piece might be, have you surveyed the audience yet to see what they want? And the reason why I ask that is a lot of times we got all the one-on-one meetings, we got the group meetings, we got all the things that we've curated for the people, but we never ask the people, and then there's a disconnect and we wonder why either A, the people are not coming or they're not interested. Like I would survey the audience, and it sounds like you're going to be surveying several audiences, because if you got 10 people, every single one of y'all need to send a survey out to y'all's individual audiences, collect all that data so you can decipher it. Oh wow, 80% said they want a retreat, 20% said they just want some homegirls. Maybe we should do a homegirl retreat where there's fun, there's freedom, and XYZ. So I think soliciting feedback will be priority. And what you can do is come up with the questions as a team. So that way it's not just Samantha thinking about what you want to know, but it helps everybody to feel involved. Start surveying the people, because I'm telling you, a lot of times we be doing all the things and we know the people want it, but honestly, they may have wanted it in one season, but in this new season, they don't care about nothing but having fuzzy socks on, drinking hot cocoa, and hanging out by the fire with their homegirls. Yeah, I see a lot of y'all nodding because things change, and we got to make sure that we're doing pulse checks as things change. For example, I used to do this thing called self-care Sunday, where it was kind of just like this. We had self-care Sunday like 2 or 3 years ago. I did that a couple times. Then I elevated to something else. So when you hear me saying that, soliciting feedback from your audience, have you done that yet? And how does that sound to you?
That sounds like such a great idea. And no, I have not. And it's interesting because when you say that, I'm like, duh, Samantha, that makes so much sense because when you're starting off a business, you want to see like you want to do your target market research. You want to see, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even think about that. So that sounds like such a great idea. And it seems like a really big undertaking for me, but I've been trying not to focus on the how because when I stopped focusing on the how and I just started moving, then I felt like I was a lot more in alignment with what God was calling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I low key feel a little overwhelmed with the idea alone. But so far, each woman that I've spoken to, they're like, yeah, like just let me know how I can help. And it's also a matter of me getting out of the um like really using a team because of course I'm always that person who's like, oh no, I got to take on everything, I got to do everything. And so this was great sound advice, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. I definitely will be doing that.
No problem. And just to backpedal a little bit, it's not a common sense thing to think of. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot going on. And I just appreciate you for being vulnerable, because you don't know me from a can of paint. I think we met on Threads and you're going to be speaking at one of my events, but we've never met, we've never talked. And for you to raise your hand and ask this question, it just speaks volumes of how bad you want to get some clarity. And so now, and I only just gave you a little nugget, take that, but make sure that you're bringing these women in and letting them do some of the grunt work too. For example, don't just come up with all the questions on your own. Have everybody come up with questions, and then maybe since you're the lead, you can decipher what are like the top 10 that make sense, but get them involved, because one thing that I found when it's group stuff, you will potentially end up doing a lot of the work, and then everybody else just kind of coasting, and then you potentially can get resentful or burned out and overwhelmed, and it either A, will not come into fruition, or B, it'll come into fruition, but it wasn't a good experience. So I'm actually going to offer everyone a complimentary clarity call to chat with me, so we could actually do a follow-up to go deeper if you would like. But thank you again for being the person that did the hot seat coaching. We're going to actually wrap up because we're at time. But that was such a great question. You're not alone. There's a lot of people in your same spot. But one thing I will say, guys, yes, we are the experts, but we're not. Your audience is the expert. Your audience is the one that can really give you the messaging of what the pain points are and what the transformation is by them articulating it versus you saying it. Because a lot of times, y'all, when we do it, it's over their head. It's very logical and clinical, and that high over your head verbiage, when really they just want to heal, or they just want love, or they just want belonging. But we're saying, I will help you. Don't nobody care. They want to know what's in it for me. And in order to know what's in it for them, you got to ask them, what do you really want? And that takes a lot of teasing and a lot of different ways to explore what they want. But y'all, can we just commit? Can we make a commitment that we're going to start asking our dream clients, target market, avatar, whatever y'all coach told y'all to call them, we're going to start asking them more about what they want and what they need. And then lastly, here's a bonus. For the ones that you've worked with a while back that you haven't heard from, why not check in on them and see how they're doing? Not to make a sale, but just to see how they're doing. And inadvertently, more than likely, you probably will make a sale, because you're like, oh, wow, I actually do need her. Oh, wow, she does care about me. Let's start checking in on people, even though they're no longer paying us. I know that might be like where they do that at, but let me tell you something. That's been instilled in everything that I do. There's people that I haven't paid me in years, and I'm still checking in on them because I really care. So this wraps up the healing seat. Let me get a couple shares. How was this? Elle said, thanks to LaShana, first time, and this is amazing. Thank you, Elle, for being here tonight. Let me get a couple people off mute. How was this, y'all? I literally randomly came up with this idea in 15 minutes, put it out there. That's just how my brain works. I ain't bragging, I'm just saying. But it never fails me when I go with my gut. So let me hear from y'all. How was this tonight? Not everybody at once.
I would say for me, this has been really, really good. I love everything that you do. When I had seen this, I was like, okay, I want to support. And then when I seen TJ Self-Care and Coach Love, I'm like, oh, okay. We got a double whammy on tonight. But yeah, I was super excited. And I feel like being in the healing space and understanding healing is two different things. And as I grow on my journey, like I don't just want to be in the space of healing, but I want to be actively pursuing my healing. So
Right.
in order for me to do that, I have to show up for myself in spaces that allow and hold space for healing. And one thing that I love about LaShana is in these spaces, she's going to have those times where we have those like aha moments, and then those moments where she's going to allow you to think, and then kind of like push you a little bit harder as an entrepreneur. So it's so much, I feel like it's healing and entrepreneur growth all at the same time. But I really enjoyed this space, and it kind of gave me some food for thought and some things to think about that I hadn't before.
Love it. Miss Purry, I love it, love it, love it. And you got a triple whammy. Me, Coach Love, TJ,
And April.
and everybody else. Oh yeah, hold up.
Hold on,
Quadruple
hold
whammy.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on,
You
hold
know
on.
April?
No. This is my first time. Hold on. Let me say something real quick. I did not give what I need to say. Okay, so I was like almost in tears, like listening to her in the beginning, because a lot of times when we show up as our authentic self and we're giving our testimony. We're sharing like our real authentic story. Sometimes that could be like a little, whew, it's like, ooh, this is a lot. And as she was sharing, I could just remember one of the times when LaShana had allowed me to share on her stage, and I was like, LaShana letting me, you want me to do it? And and it was like a little push, but it gave me the confidence that I needed. And as you begin to speak, I just heard confidence growing in you. I just heard like your story really ignited me. I love what you're doing. I love affirmations. I am an affirmation queen. That's all about my brand. I'm a purpose pusher, pushing you into purpose with prayer and affirmation. Like that's me. So when I heard like your story, it resonated with me so much. This is my first time meeting you. And then Dr. Michelle, like she said like three different things that kind of like pushed me because when she was talking about us getting in community and connection and how it literally builds us and pushes us to where we need to heal at. Yes, love it all. Okay, I'm finished now.
Thank you. And just for clarity, okay, because I'm just gonna be keeping me up at night. I wasn't saying like triple or quadruple of like who made impact. I was saying who you knew. I know you don't. I know you don't care, but I'm just getting it for the record because I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody lit up the stage,
Yeah.
including the people, including the people who came off mute to share how they was feeling, including the people who was in the comments. Because Drea, that answer to the first question that I asked, that was a bar. Did you get that from ChatGPT? Tell the truth.
That's Drea. That's the Drea of 2025.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Kinda. But Drea, that was a bar. So I don't know where you been, what you been doing. Keep cooking and frying. Okay. All right. Let me get two more shares. Coach Jenna came off the camera for the one time. Y'all, if y'all not gonna be at Healing While Building, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. If you're like, what's Healing While Building? Just click the link because I can't even, I'm not trying to go in too much overtime. All right, let me get two more shares. Who want to share their takeaway? What's popping?
It was amazing. You know, I'm not gonna leave without saying nothing. It was absolutely amazing. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Drea said. Queen April, you have found your walk, girl. This is my second time getting to hear you speak, but actually fully hearing your whole story today. Oh, I was like, she talking to me. She is talking to me. I don't know where you've been all my life, but I really felt like you were talking just to me. Okay. I think that you're just doing your story, just the energy. It's amazing. Please, please stay in this walk. If there's anything I can do to support you in it, please let me know because I absolutely will. The queen, my bestest from the Car Chronicles, she came through like the woo, okay? I'm telling my age, I'm a Wu-Tang fan. She came through like the woo from the car, okay? Real again. I was like, dang, she only talking to me. I feel like LaShana like just curated this just for me as like a pre-birthday present or something. Cause I was like, this is for me. Like I really felt like I got to just be a student today. It was awesome to see all your beautiful faces, Allegra, everybody. I look forward to meeting the rest of you that I haven't met. The comment section. Thank you to the people that I invited for showing up. Like I love that. LaShana, just thank you for always being obedient. You guys have heard the story of us. I courted LaShana like you did, Kia, for like 3 years. Like I was like, I'm warming up. And when I finally got to her, got right in the hot seat with her. And I felt so blessed to finally see her in person this year and give her her flowers in real time because she deserves them. This one right here is a gift from God. When I tell you, you wanna learn obedience, watch her. She does it so fast. If everyone could just take that nugget, don't be afraid to show up and do what you do because we need y'all. We here together. This is a community thing for a reason. We thrive and we're better together. So thank you so much, LaShana. And anything you do, you know I'm there. As
Thank
long
you,
as you got a
Coach Webb.
virtual ticket.
Thank you, Coach Love. I appreciate you. Y'all know what's crazy about technology and social media? I felt like I had already met Coach Love in person because we had known each other virtually. She was in like my coaching program back in the day, and then we just stayed connected for like 4 or 5 years. So when I met her in person, it wasn't like, oh girl, it was like, hey girl, because it was like I already had met you in person, which is just so crazy. So thank you for being you. Do not stop. And I love that you specialize with men and boys because that is such a big gap in the world of people taking time and energy out to support that population. So never, ever, 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 ever switch from that. You can add and elevate, but never remove. Oh, all right. So we got Trinice and then we got Coach Jen. Trinice, your hand is raised. What would you like to share?
Hold on, because
Might be Trinace.
I can't start my video, but that's okay because I'm outside walking. But thank you, Coach Love, for inviting me. So again, I've been walking almost the whole time after I got home from work.
Girl, is you trying to throw that in my face? I need to be walking. We get that you walking, girl. Okay,
Man, okay, so this walk is the first walk in 2 weeks.
No. For real, I'm hating. I'm hating because I need to have my black blank out there walking. But go ahead.
So this is my first time, but this won't be my last time. This was great. Because I had walked away from a community because I was feeling unfulfilled by a community because that can happen.
Yep.
They grew me, but then they start playing too much for me.
Ooh.
And I don't play too much. I don't.
Okay. You don't play the radio. You don't play the radio, do you?
Nope. I choose the music I'm gonna listen to. Just know. So thank you. This will not be the last time. Thank you for inviting me. I had kind of forgotten till you text me again. I was like, oh, shoot. Let me end this phone call and get on here. This was wonderful. Everybody's spoke was great. I love community, a positive community, because sometimes community can turn toxic, you know?
Yeah.
And I appreciate this. So I'll see you again.
No problem. I always say assess people, places, and things that don't serve you. And when it comes to people, a community could be it too. And it's not always, oh, it was toxic. That could be it, but it could be that you've outgrown the nest and you got to go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. So sometimes, y'all, we try to stay because we like consistency and we like routine and we don't really like change, but I embrace change resiliency. I say change is the new normal. So I don't know about the community you was in, but whatever it was, they lost a good one, and now you get to go add your time and talents somewhere else. All right. All right, Coach Jimby, and I see y'all clocking that T. Okay, we clocking that T. Jen, we're gonna save the best for last. What would you like to share tonight, love?
Hey. First of all, thank you for hosting this tonight. I came in at the last hour because I'm on the West Coast time, so um didn't necessarily have the same luxury to jump in as early as I would like to, but I'm glad that I did even for the last hour because wow, it was packed full of nuggets and reminders. Because I think even for many of us who are helping others, sometimes we lose track of, checking in with ourselves. So I was definitely taking notes and, just to remind myself, make sure. So I jumped in with Dr. J. Michelle Van and Coach Love. So those were the sections that I came in on. So thank you, ladies. And also, just to anyone who's new, definitely encourage you to stick with LaShana because she is very talented, very generous, very uplifting, has a wonderful network. And if you're willing to do the work, she will definitely commit to helping you. It's a partnership, though. You got to make sure you do your part.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to put that out there. And also
Yeah.
October, see, I'm coming from the West Coast, or almost West Coast, Southwest. if I can come from the Southwest, y'all can get to Healing Well Building in October. So
She's coming all the way from California, and
I'd love to meet
she's,
y'all. So
she's going to be a thought-provoking speaker. So super excited, and thank you, Jen, for sharing that. Not Coach, Dr. Michelle, I seen your hand was up, and I don't want to breeze over you. Then also April and Tanisha, if you guys have anything before we wrap up, please let us know.
No, you're good. Thank you. Sorry, I had to pop out. I was at an event, but I just wanted to just remind us, that there are times when there are situations that are seasonal. You don't go to the emergency room to live. You go to the emergency room because you need that emergency sort of help. That's not where you live, though. And so there are times when we get into communities and we get into those communities because at that particular moment, we need what they have to get us to the next level. But that doesn't mean that we have to stay there because our next blessing is not in that same space. And if you stay too long, you become as toxic as they are. And so we just have to make sure that we are cognizant of, do we understand our seasons? Do we understand where we're supposed to be and when we're supposed to be where?
Collection plate. Yo, that was a bar, Dr. Michelle. That was a bar. Thank you for saying that. I'll also say this, opposite of toxicity, I'm just gonna say abundance. I have a couple, I don't like saying clients, I like saying accountability partners in crime. I got a couple accountability partners in crime that have worked with me, built up confidence, built up ability to create content and stand full in their power, and met other individuals while they were in my community and invested in that next community. And I'm just sitting back like a proud mom because I remember when I first was on a complimentary call with a couple people, and they were like very timid and reserved. And now I see them, and I'm not taking full credit. I'm just going to take a little slice of the pie. It's a blessing. So, guys, we got to stop having a scarcity mindset too. When our accountability partners in crime, don't take my stuff, I'm about to get it copyrighted, okay, and written, whatever. When they move on, it should be good job. And if you are on the flip side in a toxic or uncomfortable environment, let me tell y'all something. The body keeps a score. And if you going in making sure that you don't put your red lipstick on because you don't want nobody to say nothing, or you can't wear your blazer because they might feel like you trying, then you don't need to be there. Okay, this is not high school. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm about to get hyped. Let me just be quiet. All right, April, what you got for us? And then TJ, if you able to come off mute, because I know you still doing what you need to do, let us know. But April, you got so much love, boo. Was this your first time speaking?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Gotcha.
Listen, y'all are amazing. See, I said I'm in tears because I just went through a personal journey, and like I said, I suffer from a lot of mental illness coming from my domestic violence and stuff, and I took a sabbatical, and I was ready to put down speaking and writing because I was in search of my peace, and I was trying to find out what my next step was. And to hear you say, "Don't put it down," because that's what I've been praying for answers. I've been praying for direction. So that's why I say you guys got me in tears because I've been asking like where do I go from here, Father? Like, did I plateaued or what's my next step? And my mind's been so consumed with trying to figure out my next step that I was really about to put everything down. I'm about to stop writing. I'm about to do everything because I'm tired. And it's like she said, the body keeps score. So, I took time off to heal my body. So I'm back up on my feet. I just had my first skin removal surgery. It's called a peniculectomy. So I'm back to work. So now I'm ready to keep it pushing. And I thank you guys for just being that voice to say, don't stop, just keep going. Because that's the question I was asking. And it came in fruition with, they say you ask and he shall receive. So gave me my answer. So I thank you guys for just allowing me to grace y'all with my presence. And I appreciate you so much, LaShana.
No problem. Thank you for being obedient and being receptive. And sometimes I'm not gonna say it's validation, but sometimes we just need reminder of our why. And I think tonight gave you a reminder of your why. And we're just so excited to continue to see you flourish. Yeah, for sure. All right. TJ, you able to come off mute, love? Just want to get some
Yes,
final
tonight
thoughts
was
from you.
incredible. Sorry, I had to pick up my medication from Walgreens. So I'm in the car, but tonight was amazing. I loved hearing everyone's stories, and I think it was just confirmation for me as well to continue to allow my healing journey to kind of show me the direction that I'm also going in my business, because the two can blend.
Amen. The two can blend. All right. So before we wrap up tonight, y'all want to know the next title of my virtual healing while building check-in or session? Y'all want to know the next title? Healing
Yes.
out loud. It's healing out loud. I don't know if I'm gonna do summit or healing out loud, blah blah blah, but that's the core of it. And so if you know you want to be a part of it, you know you want to be a speaker, just message me. There is a small fee. There's a lot of work that go into these virtual and live sessions. So there is a small fee, which in my opinion, it's a no-brainer when you get all of the not only exposure and the leverage of each other's audiences, but I would use it to test out and try something that you've been thinking about to gather informal feedback. Like, be strategic when you're speaking and taking opportunities. Are you trying something new? And I think Coach Love did that, because this is my first time hearing her talk about self-awareness. I could be wrong, could be right. But healing out loud is the next one. It's going to be after the Healing While Building Summit. So we'll be in November. You got time. Just message me. And for those who tapped in, if you're on my email list, you'll get notification when to get your ticket. If you're not on my email list, when you click on that link to book your complimentary call, you'll automatically be on my list. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking out time tonight. It does not it don't seem like we've been on for 3.5 hours. I ain't gonna make it go no longer than that. But that's because we are walking in. You're welcome. I'm maybe not talking to me. I don't know. I think you at Walgreens. Let me mute her real quick. We are walking in our assignment. Keep walking in your assignment. Keep asking for help, but also keep accepting help, because we can ask, but we don't always say, yes, please give me more. It's like, oh no, I'm good. Oh, thanks for checking, but I got it. And let me tell you an acronym for FIND, which I got from the hospital that I do contract work with. FIND means feelings inside, not expressed. That's what FIND means. We're not fine. So stop lying. All right. And I'm gonna drop the mic. Boop. All right. Y'all have an amazing night. I love y'all.
Thank y'all. Thank you
Don't
so
forget
much,
your social
LaShana.
media shares so y'all can win y'all coffee mug. Okay.